Quick recap. Last session, you guys traveled across the mountain and into the lands of Barovia itself. You passed through the Zvalich woods following a lonely dirt road where, during your travels, you discovered a very, very deceased man stuffed into the hollow of a tree and discovered a pack containing a mysterious letter, an empty book, and a whole host of other fun knickknacks. After finding this man, you guys were accosted to a small degree by a group of very large wolves who seemed very intent on eating the body that you found, and did so with glee the moment you guys started running away. Eventually, you found your way out of the Zvalich woods on a still very muddy path across sweeping hills and plains. You discovered a large river not too far away from the road, and after cleaning yourselves after your long journey, you guys made your way back to the path. Right at the same time, the fog, which had been hanging to the trees for most of your journey at this point, started to creep away from it and across the rest of the land. And it is with the fog on your heels rushing towards you from what feels like all directions, you find yourself at the edge of a village. It seems to rise up before you. At this point, are covered in fog, and we ended specifically with you guys passing its outskirts and to the side of the road to the village of Barovia. Car. So we're gonna where we left off with you guys making your way to the village at a rather quick pace as the fog pushes in. As stated last time, buildings to old, dilapidated, and empty, dark windows staring out. Until you pass the sign and make your guess as the edge of the village proper, that you even begin to hear sounds. At this point, the fog has, made its way fully towards you guys. It's sitting low on the ground now, around your ankles, but it's pooling and slowly getting higher. And as you, pass, into the edge of this village, where it actually starts, you guys begin to hear distantly the sounds of a crying woman from one direction and the sounds of crying children from another. Already, you would have to guess this is not a happy place.
Oh no.
How do you guys want to proceed?
Oh boy. We need to seek shelter before the fog rises anymore. This place looks unsettling, as if there is some kind of deep-seated sorrow just in this place. I mean, I look at Jon and say, look at your village. That was like so miserable. And now look at this.
There's people crying here.
Just fucking call Jon's village miserable. Fucking same. Jon says like, he grunts and he's like, I've seen villages like this before. It's right on. The villages usually get abandoned as armies march onwards ever nearer to them. This reminds me of that. It's fucking miserable. All right, I suppose we should head to the cities, to the towns or village center and see if there's anyone there.
Perhaps. We can look for an inn, but I don't think an inn in this place would get any visitors.
DM, you said that there was a lady crying, or just general, like a lot of people seem to be crying?
So, if to be more specific, from one direction, I can actually point it out because we have a full map.
Mhm.
Give me 1 second. I can give you specifics.
I was imagining more just like women crying as like an ambient background noise, just like as a part of a like I don't know, like a game. You know, there's just babies crying and women
Oh, I don't know. I think
in the
crying is
background.
always bait.
That's true. I mean, it's specific enough that there's a direction, so it's probably something that we should go investigate.
So the wailing of a woman, and again, it's worth noting. I mentioned these two sounds because the village is otherwise deathly silent.
Mm.
It is basically only broken up by these cries.
Huh.
So the woman crying sounds pretty distant. Farther, we'll say in this direction, probably closer to the center of the village. Interestingly enough, you can hear what sounds like children kind of like whimpering and crying, which is interesting because it's not like the loud, like whatever woman is out there crying and like wailing and moaning, it's loud and hard to miss. It sounds like, like they're tearing at their throat to make themselves heard. The children, they sound close down the nearby road. We'll say, by the way, the party, you guys are like here.
Is there no other signs of life at all?
Not really.
Where were the
These
children
buildings are dark and quiet. I should change my color so you guys can actually see my pings. Mauve is not like a good choice.
Those are the children.
Yeah, that's the direction you can hear them kind of like whimpering and crying from. They sound fairly close, although again, the fog is rising and it is getting kind of difficult to see. The thick fog has kind of pooled around your ankles and is slowly moving up your legs, but everything is slowly being engulfed by the kind of gray of the surrounding fog.
Well,
Yes.
I say we go investigate the children.
Fiona thinks twice about it. Well, I am a bit worried for crying children, but the woman really does sound like she's in pain. Don't you think so?
Yes, but so there is two ways we can do this. We can either go explore one thing, investigate one, or we can split the party.
Well, I don't really mind splitting since we're in a town, but I don't think there's anyone else here but us and those crying people.
I think we should stick together. Nothing good happens by splitting the party, in my experience.
Yeah.
That is true.
Fiona's gonna take a look around.
I think we should go investigate the children as well.
All right.
I
do worry
It
for
won't
the
take
lady
long.
though.
Yes, we can. If once we resolve the situation, we can go towards the lady.
Maybe the children are just scared of her. I would be.
Hey,
Alright.
I have read some horror novella from in the city, and creepy crying children in a spooky village usually scare you rather than the other way around.
It's well known that the church that kind of rules in the seat of Osmar. They are well known for their deep-seated fear of spooky children.
Yeah.
All right. So,
Something sounds delicious.
yeah, it's the children.
Crunching
It's
bones.
a granola bar. I have no food with me right now, and this is my only source of sustenance for the next couple hours. So yeah.
I'm actually eating boiled quail eggs.
That sounds
What?
fantastic. I'm
You bought-
so jealous.
It was discounted. It was expiring. Okay, let's go on.
All right. So, you guys are headed in the direction of the children, then.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
All right. So, you start moving past the similarly empty-looking buildings, closer towards where you hear the children, and you find yourself standing outside of a large foreboding house. It, like all of the others, appears empty. The windows are dark. The doors are closed. The windows are shuttered. But what makes this one stand out, the two children not doing a very good job of hiding themselves in the bushes near the front entranceway. They are hard to make out at first, but by the time you're standing in front of the building proper, it's pretty easy to see. They're like half crouched down. You can see like the edge of what you would have to imagine to be the girl's dress, kind of like caught on one of the kind of gnarled branches of the bush. They're not doing a very good job, but also they're like little kids. It is also worth noting that it is only when you guys make your way in front of the home, and thus probably in view of the children, that suddenly the crying and whimpering just kind of stops.
I'll crouch down and I'll say, "Shh, hello there. Hey, there's nothing to fear. Here, are you hungry?" And I'll pull out a dry ration.
You can hear from inside the bush some whispering back and forth, and then like a little hand reaches out, the little chubby child's hand, kind of pale, just kind of reaches out and like they're expecting you to put the food in their hand. What were you asking, Lina?
Well, Fiona's gonna look around again. It's not dark, right?
No, but it's gloomy.
Okay.
It's like a rainy, overcast day.
Alright, okay. Can they still hear the lady from where they are?
Yes, and you guys can too, although she's a little bit farther away.
Well, she's still worried about the lady, but she's gonna look at the children. Are they eating what being given to them?
I don't know. Did you put the food into their hands?
Oh no,
Yes.
didn't. Yeah, okay.
They snatch the food away from you, Balthazar, and you hear it get drawn into the bushes. And there's some whispering again, and finally, the two of them, you can hear them moving around inside the bushes. They step out. They make their way around to the other side. Give me 1 second here. Give you guys a handout and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, you're so prepared.
Should be in supporting cast. I'd click the button and just make it appear for you, but I have these on pop-out. For some reason, it makes it disappear.
Yeah, it didn't pop
Oh
up.
yes.
Have to open it manually.
Dang,
Oh
dang.
my god.
Rose and
The-
Thorn.
That little girl looks like a tiny vampire.
She looks like the
I mean,
devil
I think
she
that
does.
anyone who wears a red mantle cape looks like a vampire.
It's basically instantaneous. You put it on and you just become a vampire, in fact.
Yeah, no, that's why everyone knows definitively that Doctor Strange is actually a vampire.
Yeah. Countess Tornula.
Mm-hmm.
So two children stand before you. One
So
an older,
who grabbed the food?
a little boy.
Okay.
The smaller, younger looking of the two. He's got his little stuffed rabbit clutched in one hand, and in the other, he's got assume the chunk of like hard black bread that you pass to them, and he's like munching on it. He takes a little bite out of it, and then he looks over at his sister, and he kind of tugs on her arm, the hand holding the rabbit. She leans down, and he whispers something in her ear. She turns to him, and you can hear her shush him. And then she looks to the four of you, and she says, "Who are you?"
Little one. I say, like, crouching down a little, and I say, like, my name's Jon, and here's my friends, Balthazar, Fiona, and Kaylen. We're, are you, looking at the older one, I say, are you the one in charge around here? I say, like, I'm attempting to, like, appeal to her childish sense of importance.
I like that. Okay.
That's a real father, that is.
You can see it. He's a proper dad. She kind of looks at you and she stands up a little straighter. She says, right now I am, yeah. Are you from outside the village?
Well, yeah. Sorry, you can go ahead.
No, it's fine. I was just gonna ask the boy that it's the food is the bar is not the best, but do you like the taste?
He looks at you nervously and he kind of shuffles behind his sister a little bit, but he nods his head at you.
Well, as I said, Balthazar, and this is Fiona. What are your names?
The young girl looks at you and she says, "My name is Rose, and this is my brother."
I look at Jon and say, I look at Jon and I look at the kids and I look at Jon again and say, it's awfully late out here. Where are your parents?
There, and she stops herself. She catches herself. And then she says, "They're still in the house, in the basement. I think the monsters got them."
The monster?
I look at Jon again.
I let out a low growl in my throat, and I say, you stay here and keep the children company for a while. I'll go look inside the house."
Wait, don't. You shouldn't go in there.
Fiona's gonna
Hold
ask,
on.
how does the monster look like?
She looks at you. She hesitates for a second. She says, "They're big and tall and strong and fast, and we only saw them for a second. Mom and Dad told us to run outside, but I'm really scared."
Are they fur like
You
wolves?
think the monster's still around?
Say that again? Both of you.
You think
What
the
did it-
monster's still around?
And Mom and Dad haven't left yet. Were you asking Lina?
Were they furred like wolves?
Yeah, they were.
Oh, then we can deal with it for you. We'll go save your mom and daddy.
Are you sure? I don't want you to go in there and get hurt. It wouldn't be fair to ask outsiders to deal with these problems.
Before I go in, though, I'll just say that where's the rest of the people? Is there no one here to help you?
We only heard the crying lady
Everything's
too.
been so hard here in the village lately. There's barely any folks around, and everyone's too scared to come outside anymore.
That's terrible.
All right, Rose. Here's what we're going to do. I need you to be strong and stay out here and watch over your little brother, and we'll check out your house for you.
They nod their heads in appreciation. She says, "Thank you so much. Please be careful, though."
Yeah. And I look at John's eagerness to fight monsters, like, and Balthazar nervous. Yeah, we'll be fine. You take care, and I'll pat the boy on the head.
We'll wait outside unless you know somewhere safe to go.
I don't think it's safe anywhere, but okay, don't breathe the fog. If the fog rises somewhere, go inside. And I'll look. Is there no other houses nearby with open doors or anything?
No, there is not. There are. I will go so far as to say that most of the houses nearby have their doors and windows not just shut, but some of them have been barred or barricaded over.
Wow.
Oh dear.
Balthazar still goes and slams at some of the doors with his flimsy fist. Well, not flimsy, average strength fist. Hey, nobody here, the kid's out here!
Fiona's gonna try to ask the kids, do you know who's that crying?
That, Mom and Dad said that that lady, her daughter died.
No.
But that's all I heard.
Why don't you guys stay with her first? It might be safer.
They look at each other and they share a nervous glance before they look back at you and they say, "I'm not sure that would be a good idea."
It's probably not wise to send the children packing off in the direction that we all know is safe.
Balthazar, as you slam on doors, you do not get any responses. I will say, though, one of them, maybe the one directly across the street, I think that sounds interesting. As you slam on the door and call out, no one answers, but you do hear what sounds like movement on the other side. Someone shuffling around, maybe. They never answer your call to the door.
It could be anybody. Anything.
All right, I say we the house and investigate.
I will say this: the two kids step away, and they kind of they go back to their hiding place in the bushes actually, and they're staring up the house, and they're looking over at you guys. Kaylen has been very silent this whole time. And he's just been kind of eyeing up the kids and eyeing up the house. He's been watching Balthazar go around and knock on the door. And finally he speaks up. And I'm not going to do the Australian accent, even though I think it would be funny. But he says, "You guys don't think it's a little too convenient? I'm surprised you guys are just going along with these kids. Don't they seem suspicious to you?"
I don't know, the whole town seems suspicious actually. I'm still worried for that lady too.
I personally think this whole... I mean, what better way to lure us in, these monsters, right, than to use kids to do it? They know we're here looking for kids, and so they put kids outside to bait us in.
What? That is silly. That is silly.
Yeah, I understand that you're distrustful of everyone and everything, but I personally don't make a habit of doubting every child that I come across.
He looks at you and he kind of frowns. And then he looks up at the building and he seems to concentrate for a moment and he says, I still think something's wrong here, okay? That building, there's something real evil inside of it. I'm sure of it. And if you guys want to head in there and check it out, I'll follow you and I'll help you out. But just know, I think this is a trap.
All right, Admiral Akbar. I mean, like, how big is the building? Like, I'm imagining it's literally just like a shack.
It's pretty big. It's 2 stories. It's got a gate in the front yard. There are bushes.
What the fuck kind of village is this?
It's old, is honestly what it looks like. John, you've been to war, and the rest of you guys have been traveling. This village looks old. Like the old quarter in Ostmark, for reference, Balthazar, is done in the style of these buildings. These kind of like tall, very narrow, these kind of, even the roofing style, the architecture reminds you of Old Town. And you also remember one of the issues they have in Old Town a lot is these buildings are all wood. They tend to burn down very easily. Old Town is the only part of Ostmark with like a permanent fire department, which is something just completely unheard of in most places. But like these buildings look like ancient fire hazards. There's a certain charm to them. Don't get me wrong. They're actually, some of them are designed real well. They're kind of beautiful, but they are also way past their prime. These buildings look like they've been standing here essentially untouched for, a real long time. The houses at the edges of the village, the ones you passed on the way in, they look like more recent constructions, but they also look like hot trash. So, improvement. But yes, this building is actually, I'll go one step further. This building is nicer than some of the surrounding homes. It looks like it's been kept together a little bit better, like whoever lived here actually maintaining it. The paint is still chipping and flaking in some areas, and parts of the gate are rusted, but it's not nearly as bad as a lot of the houses you passed on your way in. So actually, as long as we're discussing it, and asking me your question, just 1 second, because I'm going to change the map.
Wait, have we gone in?
It's 3 full floors, and it's got like a raised roof and everything.
Huh. Oh, okay, I see.
Yeah, hopefully that map pulled up. We've got advanced dynamic lighting on, so
Whoa!
You can
Wow, someone is a pro user.
Premium. Amazing.
What is it, $60 a year for all the cool stuff, all the fun features?
Yeah, you get to use it on the tablet. But yeah, DM, would Fiona have any knowledge about this town? Would she be able to remember anything? Would she have any memory that pops up?
Roll a D100 for me.
How high?
Then I will give you an answer.
Tabang T6.
Okay. So I'll give you this. You do remember this building. You remember the village of Barovia. And while those memories are murky and vague, this is more or less how you remember it. Things maybe weren't quite as bad. There were people on the streets, and and as heavy
Sorry, I missed that.
crying children. Uh, this place looks mostly like how you remember it.
Okay.
It's a little worse now because the last time you remember being here, there were people in the streets, and there weren't like crying children hiding in bushes or screaming women. But like it usually looks this horrible. And I will even give you that you remember this building, and you remember it with a sense of fear, but you do not know why.
Oh dear. She's going to take a little step back. And she's gonna look at Kaylen. Kaylen, where are you? Oh no.
What did you what did you want to ask, Kaylen?
She's gonna go up to Kaylen and say, "What were you saying you felt about this house again?"
He was just generally suspicious.
There's something evil about this place. I can feel it. There's something evil in the house.
Well, can you look around? Where are the children?
They have resumed their hiding spot in the bushes, and you can hear them quietly eating at the ration that Balthazar gave them.
And she can still hear the crying, wailing lady, right?
Yes, but it is distant.
You know, guys.
It's like a soft background noise.
You know, guys. I don't know. I think suddenly I'm with Kaylen about this.
Finally, someone's talking some sense, Kaylen says. He's got a very smug grin on his face.
But yeah, the crying lady is also still on my mind. I don't know. Maybe before we go in, we should go and see her.
The children seem to have heard this because Rose stumbles out of the bush and she says,
Oh,
"Oh,
dear.
wait, I thought you were going to go save Mom and Dad."
Oh.
I like cross my arms looking at Fiona and it's like, well, go on. I thought we were gonna save Mum and Dad.
Yeah, I know. But suddenly I feel like I remember something about this place.
About a specific house.
I know it's scary.
Do you know our Mom and Dad?
I'm not sure. She looks at the house again. She's still very hesitant. You can see that she does want to help the children's parents, but something is keeping her body from moving closer to the house. It's like she's hesitant to walk there.
You don't remember these kids? You don't remember any parents or any kind of people related to this building?
But it's a scary house.
You're looking at the house and you remember feeling afraid.
I let out a sigh and I'm like, well, you don't have to go in if you don't. Well, you can keep a watch on the children. I'm still going in though.
Balthazar, I will note that the fog is getting deeper. It has started to pool at this point around your knees.
Fiona, is it getting darker with the fog?
Yes, but not like aggressively so. It's already so overcast and dour here that like the addition of fog doesn't make that huge a difference.
Okay. Mm. Oh man, I wish Kaylen was here. Our conspiracy theorist is gone.
Listen, Kaylen definitely believes that this house is evil and that there is some kind of evil thing in there and that this whole thing is a setup. Can never trust children. That is a well-known Kaylen policy.
Well, she looks at the children. They do look very desperate to get their parents safe, right?
Look, I understand that we are torn between two decisions, but the fog is pulling up. We need to move. We need to move right now. And I'm willing to go into this house. I mean, no fire spells, please. No fire. No fire. And he puts away his own bombs that deal fire, but no fire.
No sacred
But otherwise,
flame?
you should be fine. No fire. I don't know. The sacred flame does fire damage?
Yeah.
Yeah, no fire.
Oh well. Okay. Hmm. She tries to go closer to the house. Well, I guess so. I have 3 strong guys here with me, right? Should be alright.
That's the spirit, isn't it?
Can she try to incite the children? She's really very worried about the house. She's probably worried about the monster inside.
You can roll insight versus the children. Go for it.
Okay. Well, that's pretty bad.
Their fear seems pretty sincere, and they do look genuinely concerned for their mom and dad.
We'll save mommy and daddy very quickly, okay?
I like the very quickly caveat.
And we'll get out of there very quickly. Right, guys?
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Okay,
So then,
and listen up. If we don't come out in like 1 hour, I need both of you to run and call every person in the village to this house.
Every person?
Well, whoever you can find.
Although that's normally a good idea, I don't think anyone's responding to house calls at the moment. I say, gesturing.
No one's even coming to help the crying lady.
so I suppose then that the group of you approach the entrance of the house. There?
Yes.
All right. So, let's see here. A wrought iron gate with hinges on one side and a lock on the other fills the archway of the stone portico standing before you. Even from here, you can see that the gate is unlocked and already opened. There are a pair of oil lamps hanging from the portico ceiling by chains, flanking a set of oaken doors that probably open into the building itself.
Does the gate look forced open, or is it just open?
It just looks open.
Okay. Is there any other signs of forced entry?
No, not that you can see.
I turn to the children and I say, like, how did the monsters get in?
We don't know. We think maybe they came in through the basement. That's where we heard Mom and Dad going when we saw it run past.
Did you have any other guests before the monsters showed up?
No, it was just Mom, Dad, us, and our little baby brother.
Baby brother?
Yeah, Walter. He was still in the house.
Oh no.
I just like to add that like these are parents that were willing to name their children Rose and Thorn, and then the third kid is Walter.
Yeah, they listen. Okay, they were hippies when they were younger, and they had their first kid. They kind of calmed down over the years.
Yeah, the third baby is the regret baby. They want to raise this one right. Anyway, okay, yeah, all right.
Where was Walter?
I go in.
He was upstairs in the nursery. We locked his door before we ran out, but he's a little too big for us to carry.
Okay. Well, hopefully the monster didn't get to him.
When you say that,
I like how you're just like, sorry. Go
well,
ahead.
the door is locked, you know.
when you say that, the two of them look at each other, and the young boy starts crying, and Rose just kind of wraps her arm around him, and she starts whispering to him in the ear, saying, "Don't worry, I'm sure Walter's fine."
I'm so sorry.
Obviously doesn't have any siblings. I actually look at her and I'm like, you have any siblings?
Yeah, I do. I had a brother. Kinda.
You had a brother.
Kinda?
Yeah.
What do you mean by kind of?
Well, you know, you kinda have a brother. She shrugs.
Like someone who was like a brother or like a half brother?
Oh, he was my
like
brother.
An actual brother.
He's my brother.
Then how is he kind of brother? Like a brother.
Well, you know, I have a brother. I kinda have a brother. She realizes that it sounds a bit ridiculous and she stops and she just repeats herself. I kind of have a brother.
I see.
That sounds suspicious as hell, says Kaylen.
Everything sounds suspicious to you, Kaylen.
Yeah, I'm with Kaylen on this one. You gotta look at your story. But anyway, so I'm gonna head in.
Go ahead. You guys can move your characters. Just take it. If you guys get to a door, stop the character and let me know you're opening the door. But otherwise, you're free to move around as you want.
All right, I'm opening the doors.
You push them open, and so it's worth noting this little area right here is like a tiny little foyer.
Right.
And it's kind of interesting. Inside the foyer, there is like a big shield along this wall here. It's decorative, obviously, and done in like you can tell, John, having seen it firsthand, it's not real gold. It's like what's the word for it? It's decorative gold, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's like a coat of arms. It's like a big windmill on a red field, and then to either side of it, there are these like little portraits hung on the walls. You can see these stony-faced, kind of aristocratic people. They're those kinds of portraits where the eyes kind of follow you, and they've got this like stern, disapproving look on their face. But they look like nobles, and they also look very, very old. That style of like clothing and everything, the way the portrait's done, it looks like this was done some time ago.
Do I recognize the coat of arms?
Give me a knowledge history roll, and I'll let you know.
knowledge history. Where is that?
It's just
Oh,
gonna be
history.
called history.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Again, I play a lot of games, so if I say knowledge history, I mean history.
So much Pathfinder references.
You do not recognize the coat of arms, and you do not recognize the nobles.
I can try. I'll look at both Darren and say at John and say that interesting coat of arms. Let me see. And he pulls out this notebook and see if he can try it, because he has a lot of intelligence. Let's see. History.
He should
Wow,
get an
okay, then.
advantage, though. I say he has an advantage because he's using notes.
No,
You know what?
it's not a thing.
Okay.
It's actually just a bluff thing.
All right.
Okay. They look vaguely familiar to you. You're fairly confident, actually, Balthazar, that you've seen that coat of arms before in Ostmark. But Ostmark is also the capital of probably the largest and most powerful empire in the known world right now. And Ostmark is full of old nobles with no lands and just a handful of titles that are trying their best to maintain their grip on power by leeching on to, the current people with power. And there are so many nobles and so many coats of arms, so many house phrases and, colors and all of these ancient families from 1,000 different places that honestly, you wouldn't be surprised if you saw this coat of arms every day and just never noticed it because there's just too many. So while it is familiar, like you have no idea what it actually means or who it belongs to.
Must be one of those cuff. Must be one of those bootlicker families, the nobles. Well, they're nobles, but they don't own any land. You know what I mean.
I give you a strange look, and I'm like, "What noble family ain't bootlickers?"
Damn.
Good one. I guess the one at the top.
I made a mistake here.
I sort of shrug, and I'm like, "Still a bootlegger to God."
John, when you made your up to this and pushed through the doors over here, this is where the shield and the portraits are.
Okay.
It's like a little like welcome room kind of.
Is
so to
Kaylen
speak.
going in?
Oh yeah, Kaylen's making his way inside.
Is this a no shoes? Is this a no shoes house? Is there a rack for shoes?
Is this an Asian house?
You know what? Yes, absolutely. There's like a little thing over here in this corner. It looks like you're supposed to leave your boots there. You can see there's like mud tracks, but they look kind of old and dried. You can see there's some mud hanging on the rack from where people have been putting boots at. This is clearly a no boots household.
Nice. In that case, I examine the rack and see if there's any and see if there's any out of place boots. Like, I'm assuming that there's going to be there's going to be boots for children and there's going to be boots for the parents. But
What about
anything I'm looking for anything extra.
boots for the monster?
Yeah, you're looking at it, and there are two pairs of boots here. A pair of like tall leather riding boots and a pair of like red leather women's riding boots. They're significantly smaller than the other pair and also are a lot nicer.
Okay. I open the next set of doors.
Go ahead. I'll sit you some on the other side.
Still going to stay outside-ish. That's what she said. they suggested her do.
I mean,
So
if you want to.
Fiona's keeping an eye on the children then?
No, the children has gone to eat stuff
Yes,
in
they're
the
eating in the bush.
bushes. Yeah.
All right.
So, John, you and Kaylen make your way through the next set of doors into what appears to be the main hall. It's large, and if you had to guess, it runs the entire width of the house. There is a massive black stone fireplace along this wall, although it is still cold inside, and the fire doesn't look like it's been on for quite some time. Old blackened wood and ashes fill the bottom of the fireplace.
You know what? Well, in old creepy houses, the fireplace often hides a bunch of secrets, like burned letters and things that maybe the family tried to hide. I'm gonna go and investigate the fireplace and see if I can find something interesting in the ashes.
Sure. I will note, Balthazar, as you get close, you can see above the fireplace, mounted on the wall, is a longsword, and it is mounted on another one of those crests, just like the one you saw in the hall over here. On it, you can see, again, the windmill with the, like red background. You can also kind of see the tiny windmill work onto the hilt of the sword. The back of the fireplace is so not in the fireplace itself, but along the wall behind it, like the mantle. It's entirely wood panel, and it's got these tiny, really ornate sculptings worked into it. Vines, flowers, nymphs and satyrs. It's like frolicking woodland scenes. It kind of it works its way from the fireplace, and then it runs down the walls, and then there's this wooden bar that runs along the walls and divides them between what looks like wallpaper and the wooden paneling at the bottom. And it runs the entire length of the room across all of the walls, and it maintains the little what do you call it? It maintains the scene all the way across. So you're going to look at the fireplace. Go ahead, give me an perception check to search.
Okay.
Fiona, while he's doing that, the fog has risen ever higher, and it's at about chest height at this point.
Oh no.
And it's hard to avoid occasionally getting a breathful of it. And you're actually finding that it's very hard to breathe. It's very heavy. It's very warm, surprisingly, especially considering how cold it's been since you've come over the mountains. And it's very damp. It's like trying to breathe in after you've gotten out of a very hot shower.
Oh God. Well,
it's well,
yeah, that is a bit uncomfortable.
It is also worth that at this point you've lost sight of the kids. The fog has risen above their bush, and while you can still hear them occasionally talking and eating at the food, you cannot see them anymore.
Okay, she's gonna try and say and call the children out. Rose, Tarn, the fog is getting thicker. You guys shouldn't stay there.
Ooh, where should we go?
She looks into the house. Well, if we close the door, maybe we can keep the fog from coming in. Maybe you should come in as well.
Into the house with the monsters?
That's okay. I'll be here.
You can hear what sounds like them deliberating, but suddenly they just kind of appear out of the fog in front of you, and they grab at the hem of your shirt, and they look up to you and say,
Whoa.
As long as you're going in there too, we'll come with you.
Okay. All right. We'll go in together, okay?
Okay.
She looks at the house one more time. She can't inside the house, can she?
You can kind of see the front door has been opened here, and you're
Yeah.
looking it over. You're just filled with an immense, like, feeling of dread.
Yeah. The inside, the house. Wait, the house is lighted up inside, is it? Or can she
It
see?
is. It's dark inside, actually. I should have noted that. Like, it's dark in the inside of the house right now. It's not easy to see. You guys probably need a light source, and definitely the reason Kaylen didn't say anything about it is because he can see in the dark, and this stuff doesn't bother
Wait, is Kaylen? No, not is Kaylen. So if it's dark inside, are you guys using torches? Because Balthazar says no fire, no fire.
him. You guys could start a fire. If you wanted, I will say that you guys could have taken the lanterns that are hung outside. It'd be pretty easy to pull them down. They've got
Yeah.
a little bit of oil left inside them.
Yeah,
Alright.
that sounds like a good idea.
So are these like open lamps or like closed like lanterns with glass in them?
They are supposed to be glass lanterns. So I will say they are glass lanterns. You guys
Wow,
can add,
that's-
family.
yeah, you guys can each add an oil lantern to your inventory. Although remember that these probably belong to the family. So if you want to hold on to them past this, it may be worth asking. Fiona, you were
Fiona-
taking the children inside?
Yeah, I forgot that Fiona has dark vision, so that's okay.
Yeah. I mean, you
Fiona.
can see through the entrance wall, it's fine.
Yeah. So Fiona's going to step in. She's gonna take a deep breath and she's gonna force herself in. She really doesn't want to go in. Yeah. Oh, she steps in.
Actually, let me change your token real quick. I forgot that you have special dark vision now, because you should have much better vision now.
Yay! Oh, wait. Do I change it in my setting? Did I change it?
I did it for you. It's token specific.
Alright. Now I still
So yeah,
see
you
room to room. Alright, okay. Oh.
yeah you should see room to room because of how the lighting
Course.
blockers work.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
but
I have
otherwise,
brought the children in with me.
yes. You make your way inside. You close the doors behind you, and the children even go so far as Rose takes a little key out of her pocket and she locks the door. And she puts the key back. She looks to you and says, I don't want to go any farther into the house, just in case. I think Thorn and I are going to wait here, if that's okay.
Okay. Well, the inside of this is a foyer, right? So, inside
Yeah.
here there is no fog, right? Or has the fog seeped
No,
into
there's
the house
not.
as well?
The fog has not crept into the house at all. It seems like you can look out. There are little stained glass windows on the door. You can
Mhm.
kind of see through them, and you can see the fog is like pooling up against the door, but it never seeps through.
Okay. Well, it looks like it's safer in here, at least for from the fog. So I guess you guys can sit here. Don't go anywhere, okay? We'll be back. If anything happens, you can scream. We'll hear you.
Okay. So, Balthazar, you are looking over the paneling, and obviously, Fiona, you can move about as you will.
All right.
You are looking over the fireplace, and you're checking all the sides. You're like tapping at the walls and stuff. I assume checking out the stonework, digging through the ash, probably with your special alchemist gloves on, so you don't get dirty. And you don't find much of anything. There's a lot of ash in the fireplace. It looks like it could use a good cleaning. It would be pretty easy to start a fire. There are all of the things necessary for it laid out on the mantle. There's a little tinderbox, we will say, and there are a couple of unused logs sitting in a little holder to the side of the fireplace, but there's nothing suspicious about it. I will say, though, that as you kind of look it over and you're kind of like checking out the fireplace and everything, something catches your attention about the wooden paneling of all things. As you're looking kind of closer at it, you notice that interwoven with the vines and flowers and the frolicking woodland creatures, there are also very cleverly hidden serpents and the occasional skull. Just kind of like nonchalantly put into certain images. It's very strange.
Interesting. Do these serpents and skulls seem to have some kind of symbolic meaning?
Hard to say.
Yeah, business students. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, it's hard to say. It could mean any number of things, but you would have to probably know more about the people who lived here, or about how this was built, or the family itself to even take a guess.
What about the sword? Is it like a functional sword, or is it like just a decoration?
Do you know?
Yes, I'll investigate the sword.
Yeah, you yank it down off the wall, and you give it a look over, and it appears to be a clean, well-kept, well-oiled longsword. It seems fully functional, in fact. It's not like a display piece or anything.
Oh, John, would you like a new sword for the time being? Unless you, want to use your own sword.
Hold on now, Kaylen says, taking a step. I'll take that.
Before anyone takes anything, I'd just like to remind you that this is somebody's home.
I'm sure
Yes,
they
but
won't
I'm
mind.
saying that we can borrow it.
We're trying to
No,
save them.
this is not how borrowing works. You gotta ask for permission first.
Hey, we're using their own sword to defeat the monsters and save their lives. I think it's fine.
Actually, John, I think he's right. They probably have things like this to protect themselves from monsters. So if they didn't get to use it, we can use it for them.
Yeah. I mean, at least they can say that the monster died by their own family sword.
Yeah.
And then Kaylen then speaks up very loudly, definitely loud enough to be heard into the foyer. Yeah, and if the parents are dead, we can hold on to it.
Oh, Kaylen.
John mutters something under his breath about fucking adventures, and he's just like, all right, well, I'm not going to be responsible for this, so whatever.
And Balthazar also says, there's a lot of... It seems it's really cold in here. Let's light a fire. Let's warm up the house a little bit, shall
You
we?
said no fire.
Yes, but this place has a fireplace, and it's made of stone, so it'll be fine.
Yeah, you guys are welcome to start a fire. Balthazar, if you want to do it, it takes you... Actually, Fiona, do you want to just, take the logs and set them on fire with a cantrip?
Okay. Can I use the sacred flame for that?
Yeah, why not? It's thematic. It's fun. Balthazar throws a couple logs in. He's getting ready to grab the tinderbox to light it. Just kind of reach out a hand.
Sacred flames
Fire.
it.
Very, very impressive magic.
Instant film for the
so
logs.
John,
They have no legs.
John, you're standing closer to it, so I assume you've been looking it over. But there's obviously over here a large red marble staircase that runs up along the wall, probably to the second floor. It's a big spiral staircase. It's very impressive looking. It looks like it probably cost a lot of money to put in. And that kind of, the symbols running along the walls, the lovely outdoor scene, it runs along the wall up onto the staircase, like it stops right here, and then it runs, along this back wall all the way up to the top.
I'm just gonna look around for signs of of struggle and stuff like that.
You don't see any.
Okay.
This place looks like it hasn't been used in a little while. Obviously, the fire's cold and everything, and the only tracks you guys see in here are your own. Namely because you guys didn't take your boots off, you fucking barbarians.
Hi. We're in a hurry. We're gonna go fight monsters, you know.
I'm just gonna systematically open every door and clear the rooms before we advance.
Go ahead, click one. Whatever you want to look at. Like you guys can see all doors.
All right.
And if you guys since something, just ask.
All right.
So
So I just start from left to right and just opening every single door and clearing the room.
Sure. You step inside and you throw the door open. You walk in. This appears to be a dining room. It's got wood paneling just like the other one. And in the center of it is a massive carved mahogany table surrounded by 8 high-back chairs with these sculpted armrests and cushioned seats. There's a crystal chandelier hanging above it all, and there are. It looks like it's set out for dinner, actually.
How many dinner sets are there?
There are 8. Although, I would say you probably know as well, you usually set, the entire table, regardless of how many people are there. Just don't put any food on them. So,
okay.
Big table. It's got, like, the silverware is really nice. It is actual silver, if you had to guess, just taking a glance. And there is, like, crystal, like, goblets for drinking. There is even even the actual plates and stuff are like very high quality, what looks like maybe china. It's very impressive.
I don't mention a word of it to my thieving adventure friends.
That's fair. There is also in here along the far wall right here a large marble fireplace, very similar to the one in the other room. Even the same size and runs, the full length of the wall. The imagery on the wall paneling in here carries on the scene from the first room, but the like mythical creatures and everything have been replaced mostly with like deer and other game. There are
still the
3
snakes
windows.
and skulls, though.
Do you want to take a look?
Sure.
Give me a perception check.
What is going on, John? Did you find anything?
Nope, room's clear.
Taking a closer look, John, you don't see any snakes and skulls, but as you look, you can kind of see like the deer are poking their heads out around all these trees and stuff, really like frolicking in fields. A lot of these trees have these really sinister looking faces, really subtly carved into like the woodwork of them. It looks natural at first and it's easy to just kind of overlook, but there are very clearly like scowling, angry faces carved into them.
Very nice place to raise children.
Yeah. There are a couple of windows in the back over here. They look into the very thinly, like, bushed backyard. It's not really a yard because right behind this place, there is, another building, essentially. But the windows have these beautiful red silk drapes over them. They're open right now. They're not closed. And they've got hanging between the windows these tapestries. They've got like depictions of hunting dogs and like noble looking people in armor with bows and arrows chasing after what looks like wolves.
Huh. Okay. I'm just going to move on to the next room.
Go for it. Just set yourself inside, huh? I like that. You may as well, because
Can't
it's...
actually see it. What's behind my token?
So inside is a cloakroom. There are several black cloaks hanging from hooks on the wall, and there is even a top hat on one of the high shelves.
Okay. Next room. That's just the kitchen again.
So this one here, right?
Right, yeah.
This is the kitchen. So it's pretty tidy, very clean. There's dishware, cookware, utensils placed on shelves. There's a work table along one corner. It's got a cutting board and a rolling pin. There is a stone dome-shaped oven on the far wall, and it's got a kind of like crooked iron stove into a hole in the ceiling. There is a door along the back wall, and give me a second here. Over here, you recognize to be a...
Is there any food of being prepared right now?
There is not.
Okay. Hiding outside. Have the children been hiding outside? I'm to myself.
Who knows? You'd probably have to ask them.
Yeah. I'm gonna go through the next door.
By the way, DM.
In here. What's up?
Fiona goes to the stairs and she tries to look up. Does she see anything?
Or just in the center to look around?
No, she's like, going to the middle of the center and she's trying to look up. It's like
you can see above you for the second floor. It's a ceilinged room. As you're looking up there, hanging in like the center above where this is, way up above is another chandelier.
Oh. Is it hanging precariously?
Yes, it's got that classic movie chandelier look. Like just the right hit. You could drop it on the heads of anyone you wanted.
She shivers and she steps back.
Was a pantry. It seems exceptionally well stocked. There is food and supplies, just chock full of stuff in here. It looks very fresh, even.
Huh. Interesting. No basement entrance anywhere.
No, interestingly enough, there is not.
Kitchen or in the dining room are
No, those are windows.
Oh, okay.
They look out, like I said, in space between the two houses. And it's not an alleyway. It's wider than that. There is some flora back there. There's like grass and these tiny bushes that kind of surround the house and grow in front of it too. But it's like there's nothing to see out there.
I'd like to inspect the. Okay, okay. I just off with like inspecting the. I'd like to just look at those portraits over the fireplace. Like, do I see any portraits of the children?
No, you do not. You haven't seen any portraits besides the one in the foyer.
Oh, I thought there was portraits over the fireplace. Never mind.
Yeah,
it's
GM. Did you see that question?
Yeah, I did. I'm answering it right now.
Yeah.
And then next is just whether this house actually looks lived in.
Sorry, ask that again. I had to answer a question.
I'm just wondering whether this house actually looks London.
Kind of. It's very, very clean, but things like the silverware having been laid out, and the fact that there are, cloaks in the closet and boots where the boots are supposed to be, leads you to believe that, yeah, someone probably does live here. I don't know, something about this place makes you think that maybe it's not just like the mother and father and the kids.
Yeah, no, that's also a thing that I'm wondering, like, are there servants? Like, it looks like this place needs servants.
It most definitely does look that way.
Alright. Well, I mean, there's nowhere else to go, so I guess go upstairs.
Hang on. This is to Jon. The parents, they said they were in the basement, right?
There's no entrance to any basements. So.
Wait, where did the stairs go? Did they go up?
They go up. Also, Jon, there is another door accidentally placed Kaylen directly in front of it.
Oh.
Kaylen was hiding.
This is just like
Fiona will follow this time.
It looks like a
are those rats?
Like a hunting room.
What is
Yeah,
this?
it's like a hunter's den. Look at. Give me a ping.
Stuffed animals?
Yeah, so this room looks like a hunter's den. There is another large marble fireplace, and mounted above it is a stack with glittering black, like, what do you call them? Glass. I think they make the eyes from glass. Like glittering black glass eyes. Positioned around the outskirts of the room, as you can see, are large stuffed wolves. There are a pair of large padded chairs draped in animal furs facing the fireplace, with an oak table between them, upon which sits a cask of wine, 2 carved wooden goblets, a pipe rack, and a candelabra. There's a chandelier hanging on the ceiling above the cloth-covered table that is surrounded.
A candelabra, like a candle holder?
Yeah, like a candle holder. It's got 3 candles in it. It looks like they've been used because they're pretty short. Finally, there are 2 cabinets against the walls. You guys can look around.
Well, what is this here?
And it in particular.
Still no basement.
What is this here?
That is a cabinet. That one, actually, interestingly enough, this is a large wooden cabinet. It's got the same intricate carvings everything else does. But this one, interestingly enough, has a lock on the front, like a big padlock.
Oh. What do you think is in here? She asked, wrestling the lock.
Private things, obviously.
Yes, indeed, private thing.
Do you think it's very valuable?
If it's locked, probably. Let's move on.
Fiona's gonna toss a look around. Does anything seem out of place? Because she's really wondering where is the entrance to the basement.
No, nothing else looks out of place. There is another cabinet over here. Not locked. It's partially open, in fact.
What's inside the open cabinet?
Then she's gonna open that one.
Inside, find a bunch of glassware, held in like little racks.
Glassware
In this little cabinet over. There are two cabinets. There's one here. This one here. Yeah, it's like fine glassware. It's the same kind of crystal glassware you guys saw on the dining room table. And then there's also a tiny wooden box inside, and if you open it, there is a deck of playing cards.
A deck of playing cards. Interesting. Just a regular deck of playing cards, right?
It certainly seems that way.
Yeah, I'll say that, well, they look like they have some amount of money if they can afford such fine glass. By the way, Balthazar holds out one of the fine glass and say, if you've been to Osmark, they have this wonderful opera theater where there's this really chubby woman who can break glasses with her voice.
That's funny.
I don't believe it.
It's considered art. I mean, you're welcome to come. I mean, if you come over to Osmark, then I can talk with some people to get a ticket for you both.
That sounds like fun. Let's do that.
I still don't believe it.
You guys hear a call from the main hall. It's Kaylen. Hey, guys, get out here real quick. Something's wrong.
Okay.
Okay.
Actually, Fiona is before they go out, Fiona is going to. The deck of cards is in a black box, right?
Yeah, like in a tiny little wooden box.
Is there anything inside the box, like keys or so?
No, just it's actually like the wooden box is almost exactly the size of the playing card deck. It looks like it's just there to hold the cards.
Oh well, so she's holding on to it.
I gently whisper to Fiona, if you're interested in taking the cards, I mean, they're nice cards. Do you play them?
My brother used to play them. I guess we can hold on to it for a while. Let's go. Kaylen's calling.
I will say.
Get a fucking bunch of kleptomaniacs.
The copper is gone.
Yeah, and I'll be like, really, like, sleazily pass it to her and go, shh, don't let Jon hear it. and now you see this other aspect of Balthazar, where which nobody has seen.
Ooh.
He's a bit of a thief.
Naturally.
He's a scumbag.
Very sleazy.
Well, yeah.
Right. I mean,
Fiona's gonna giggle and
he has proficiency in sleight of hand. So.
So Jon, you step out, and Kaylen's suspiciously, and he looks at you, Jon. He says, "You got those kids with you?"
No.
Okay. Then where are they?
I thought they were waiting in the foyer.
Okay.
Fiona.
I thought so too, but I just walked in there, and there are no kids. And I've been standing out here this entire time, and I didn't see anyone come through. Fiona, when you step around to check, there is no one in there.
I'm sorry. Well, yeah, when she hears that, she's going to go towards the door and try to call them. Tarn, Rose! She's gonna open the door. She's gonna look at the window first. See outside. Can she see them?
You throw open the door, and the fog immediately starts to pour in. And as it does so, you start coughing almost immediately. You call out there. Actually, no. I'm going to open the door, and it is locked.
Yeah, she locked it.
Wow, I'm trapped inside.
You go to open the door, and it is locked.
Oh no. She looks at the window. Can she see the kids? She's gonna try shouting for them again. Tarn, Rose!
You looking out the little stained glass window? No, you do not see them out there. In fact, you don't see any signs of them at all.
Oh dear, oh no. Where did they go? Are they hurt? Just gonna go back to the main, what is this called? Is this
Well,
the
I
living
mean,
room?
I think.
Hello?
Hello?
Okay.
So you step back inside, and Kaylen, he's got like a wild look in his eyes, and he says, "I told you there was something wrong with this house. I told you not to trust the creepy children."
I'll hate to admit it, but it looks like we were tricked.
Oh dear.
Well, nothing we can do about it now. I say we search the rest of this place, and then we get the hell out of here. Actually, no. Wait, why are we even searching the rest of this place? I just say we get the hell out of here.
I agree. Let's try to break down the door. She's gonna go back out and probably secret
You
flame
guys are
the door.
welcome. I mean, that
Oh
sounds like a
no.
terrible idea. Sitting as a wooden building, but you're welcome to do that. You guys can break down the door any way you want. You can try and pick the lock. Just describe to me how you want to do it.
Is anyone
I was
gonna...
just gonna bust it down.
Okay. Then she's going to secret flame it.
What, really? Okay.
Yeah, you reach out a hand.
Burn
And,
door!
you know,
To Fiona, the world is the target for Flick Flame.
Fiona reaches out one hand towards the door, and you know, a small, like, burning beam of light jumps from her fingertips towards the door, and where it hits, the door catches fire. The door is now on fire. If you want to go ahead and roll damage for her, you think?
Well, it's 6 radiant damage.
Yes, the door is now on fire.
Is that
This
working?
was a great idea.
Is the door burning down?
Yeah, it is.
Slowly,
along with the rest of the house.
Oh no.
The fire has not spread very far yet, but yes, the door is definitely on fire.
Hmm.
I'm just gonna cross my arms. I'm just gonna look at the and I'll be like, "Well, you've started this. Do you? You wanna see it through, or are you just gonna fucking burn the house down?"
Oh well. She's going to... This time she's gonna try to do Auroral Blast on it. So it's a force damage.
Sure, go ahead. Yeah, the bolt slams into the door. Go ahead and roll damage for it, actually.
3.
Yes, the bolt slams. So, what does it look like, just for reference?
It's a whitish sort of like beam that shoots from her hand.
Okay.
Not...
So she reaches forward with a hand again, and a brilliant white beam blasts from her fingertips, and you can hear, John, a crack in the air as she does it, and it slams into the door, and the doors, already burning, already damaged, they burst open. Looks like this bolt knocked out the fire, however it did it, and the doors, smash open, and the fog on the other side starts to pool into the room. Fiona, you're standing closer, and so it washes over you first. It's warm and wet.
Ew, icky.
It feels sticky on your skin. And when you take that first breath and choke, John, the fog then encompasses you and the rest of the room, seeming to spill in almost like water filling an empty vessel. And Jon, you get that first breathful of it too. Like I said before, it's like hot, humid, sticky. It's very heavy in your lungs. It's very difficult to breathe. You start to cough as well. What do you two want to do?
I was thinking just staying here and taking it.
Is Balthazar doing anything when he hears the ruckus?
I don't know. Balthazar, what are you up to?
Balthazar is actually still in the room.
Oh, he's staying back there.
It's probably a good idea if we head back in.
Come again?
Get to Fiona?
Sorry, I missed a bit.
I'm sort of coughing right now, so reach behind me and step through it.
Sure. As you open it, the fog starts to pool through the now opened you. Through. Started to spill into this room now as well.
And Balthazar comes out of the room, the hunting room, and he's like, what is going on? What were you guys doing?
Well, Fiona's still coughing inside the foyer.
Fiona, I need a Constitution save from you.
Wee. $16.
So you kind of hold up your arms, face, and try and prevent as much of the fog from entering your mouth as possible. You try to breathe through the cloak. It's very difficult. And, you are all right for now, but you are certain things are only going to get worse.
Oh, dear.
Jon, did you shut the door behind you when you went through?
I was sort of holding it open for Fiona, but if she's not coming,
She's
gonna
not.
be like,
I'm not sure if she knows if you went back behind because the idea was to go out. So she's kind of stunned
It is a little
right
bit
now.
hard to see. It's a little difficult to see too, so she might not have even noticed you dash back inside.
Are you
okay,
gonna call
I'm
her?
gonna. Yeah, I'm just gonna be like, Fiona, get back in here.
Okay.
Fiona, you call out from behind you.
She's gonna use his voice as a beacon.
Yes, you stumble out of the fog and into the room, and Jon slams the door shut behind you. The fog that's already pooled through sits low and heavy on the floor, but quickly disperses without, its connection to the greater billowing mass outside.
Well, that was fun.
What? Can someone explain what happened? I heard noises.
Those damn creepy children, Kaylen says. They tricked us into this house, and now we're all gonna die here. And it's because you didn't listen to me when I told you that this whole thing felt like a trap.
Now. Let's not jump into conclusions. I'm sure this house will be worth our time.
Listen, if that's the case, then where did the children go, Balthazar? Because I'm looking around and I don't see any.
It's hard to imagine that the children made it outside safe.
It's possible. Look, Kaylen, I'm not disagreeing that the children might, trick us. It could be, in the city, I've seen people use children as assassins and even spies because they're so innocent. But, let's be honest. This house has my interest peaked. So I want to look at this place total before. If you really wanted to get out, we can get out. We can smash the door. I can throw a bomb and just blow open the wall. But is it worth it? There's poisonous fog outside.
Yes,
Inside, we're at least
Balthazar.
warm. We're dry. We're safe.
That's what I did, Balthazar. I blew the door open. We can't go out anymore because of the fog.
Indeed, I analyzed the fog. This fog is probably due to the curse. It is unholy in nature, and he will put a lot of like emphasis, and and he's not even smiling. Like his voice suddenly turns cold when he says the word unholy.
It's maybe also worth noting, John, Fiona, when you guys stepped into the foyer, beyond the locked door, which I suppose the kids could have opened, gone outside, and relocked it into the dangerous fog, there's absolutely nowhere else to go. There's no windows in there or anything. It's just wall on both sides.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, I'm just gonna go back through the kitchen and close those windows.
Just to go check them out or whatever?
Yeah, because I recall that you said that they were open, so...
I mean, the drapes were open. The windows are closed.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Wait, kitchen? Where is the kitchen?
Yeah,
Kitchen's
sorry.
right here.
Listen, man, I'm not fucking rich, so I just equate the two.
That's people do.
Yeah.
Can't all be wealthy aristocrats.
So, one door left, right?
No, we already looked through those. One is the kitchen, and the other just goes back into the dining room.
Fiona's gonna try.
What?
What?
That means people were living here, or is the food stale?
There was food, and it looked very fresh.
Fiona's gonna look for a source of water. So where was where did he say was the
First
kitchen,
thing,
right?
the most obvious
Yeah.
through whatever's upstairs. Second thing that John tried was seeing if he could lower the dumbbell or the dumbwaiter.
Sure. Before we do that,
DM, this is the kitchen, right?
it's the kitchen.
Yeah, is there any taps or any source of water she wants to have a drink after coughing so much?
Like a sink.
I don't think.
Interestingly enough, there is, like, to a small extent, plumbing in quotes. It's more like chutes that lead out of the house. But no, there's not a sink in here. Looks like you'd probably have to grab a well and bring it in your...
It's okay, Fiona. Are you thirsty? Balthazar will just give a water skin. Because remember, we had water skins with us.
Alright, we do. Okay, she's gonna take out her own water skin then. I'm sorry, I'm such a panic. So she takes out her water skin
It's fine,
and
it's
take a
fine.
gulp.
So what kind of food? Meat, vegetables? What is in there?
A lot of it is like how do I describe it? It's like raw ingredients. There's like bags of flour. You see an area that has like almost like dried vegetables, things like strands of cloves of different kinds. There's like a little spice rack in the actual kitchen area, not in the pantry. And then there are some like more prepared looking goods. Like there is a large wheel of cheese that has, it's got the wax seal on the outside. There are actual like loaves of bread. And if you want to taste one, they're bland but fresh.
Curious, very curious. Balthazar will
fresh.
taste some of the cheese. Yeah, he'll taste some of the cheese and say, for a village this in such a sorry state, this kitchen seems very well equipped, like very well stocked, considering it's in this cursed land. And even John's village, which was like outside the boundaries, was in a miserable state.
Hey, this is the second time you've insulted my village this day.
I mean, no offense, but all you had was cold soup and stale bread. And look at these cheese. Doesn't it seem a little bit odd that this shoddy village, which looks like an abandoned, haunted village of some straight out some gothic horror novella, and look at the kitchen.
What's a gothic horror novella?
Oh, you village people, you have not read actual literature, have you?
Alright, this is the third time that you've insulted me to my face today. You wanna, like, cool it?
Alright, apologize.
I
Here,
Balthazar.
It'll ease your mind. It'll fill you up and it'll put you in a good mood. When in doubt, have some cheese.
Wait, is he saying that to Fiona?
No, to Jon.
Okay.
I don't make a habit of eating other people's food. Especially
Other people. Remember, we are trapped in this house by those kids. I don't think there are any other people, in my honest opinion.
Yeah.
If
All
there
the people here could be poisoned. The whole place could be poisoned, actually, Kaylen says, stroking his chin.
Balthazar says, no, if this was poisoned, I would know. Trust me, I'm an alchemist. I can take a sniff and tell if it's poisonous.
Maybe they were thinking of that, and they made a poison specifically so that alchemists couldn't taste it.
Oh, that would be scary.
Yeah. Yeah, it would, Kaylen says, stroking his chin.
I think you should stop
Alright,
eating
who wants
all
to
of
go
a
up the
sudden.
stairs?
I think you should stop eating random food, Balthazar. That does sound scary.
Yes, but I'm so hungry, and these rations taste so awful.
As your GM, just speaking real quick, I thoroughly encourage you guys to eat and taste every liquid or solid that looks vaguely ingestible that you come across.
Of course you do.
But Balthazar makes another statement, though. She says that, curious that the boy was actually hungry when there was food in the kitchen.
Well, they ran out. They were probably waiting
Yes.
for lunchtime.
Not sure.
So, the question is, how do you guys want to proceed?
We will go up the stairs. I mean, that's the only way.
Sure. I gotta grab you guys for that. Teleportation, so to speak. But yes, find yourselves at the top of the staircase. Kaylen is going the edge right here. Wait for you guys. I'm putting him in the center, though, so that you can see the whole room, as token as it is.
Are those suits of armor?
Give me just a second. So, unlit oil lamps are mounted on the walls of this elegant hall. There is another fireplace into the one below it by a continuous shaft. Hanging above the mantelpiece is a wood-framed portrait of, you would guess, the family that lives here. A severe-looking man and woman stand behind two children that you recognize as Rose and Thorn. Cradled in the father's arms is a swaddled baby. And as you kind of look at it, you notice that you would guess Rose and Thorn's mom, the woman of the house, she's got an almost scornful look at her face. She seems to be eyeing her husband and the baby in his arms. Standing suits of armor flank the wooden doors to the east and west walls. Each of these suits of armor clutch a spear in their hands and have a visored helmet shaped like a wolf's head. The doors and the wood paneling along the walls are carved with dancing children.
Wait, where's the armor? Oh, I thought those were more wolves.
They are wolf-headed, but they are suits of armor.
They look exactly like the fucking stuffed wolves in the other room.
Listen, Darren, if you're going to
No.
complain about the maps again, you're going to have to draw.
Jesus Christ.
Yes, the carvings along the walls, dancing children, and then the red marble staircase behind you guys leads down to the first floor, but it also leads further to the third floor. And Kaylen notes to you guys that he can feel what's almost like a cold draft coming down.
I thought you said there were only 2 stories.
I meant to say 3. There's 3, and then there's like a little roof area. It's got like what do you call them? It's got a steepled roof.
Okay.
So these suits of armor, do they look like well maintained or a little bit rusty?
They are very well maintained. They're like they're not like plate armor. They're like what's the word for it? I want to call it lamellar, but I feel like that's not the right word.
Brigandines?
Yeah, they're brigandine. Thank you. That's exactly it.
I don't know how to pronounce that, but I've seen that word.
Thank you for throwing that out there for me. But yes, it's a brigandine armor with these these metal wolf-visored helmets to go along with them. They've got big old spears clutched in their hands. And like I said, there is a door to the east and west.
Is there like a like names under the portraits? Like
I will
like a tag or something.
Yeah, there is a nameplate at the bottom as you look, and it says the Durst family.
The what family?
The Durst family, named after
Durst family.
The famous wrestler Fred Durst.
Huh. Were there nameplates on portraits in the foyer too?
There were not.
Okay.
By the way, do these armor like look functional or are they like ceremonial?
Gonna fucking lift a suit of armor for these guys.
No. I mean, I probably can't because I don't have proficiency. But somebody else can.
What kind of a role would that? Well, would Fiona know? No. Oh no. It's creepily quiet. I think I got disconnected.
No, it was me to
Okay.
find the answer to. How does I can't believe I didn't even notice Kaylen actually has a last name. I was so confused.
Does.
I was looking for his name in my little list, and I was like, "Who's Kaylen Fairfax? Surely that's not our Kaylen." Last name and everything now. So
I'll take a look at Kaylen's armor and I'll judge it. What is he wearing?
He wears a very finely crafted set of studded leather.
So it's actually worse than a suit of brigandine, which is like brigandines usually provide like excellent protection.
Yes, it is clearly significantly worse, but it is also like 1,000 times lighter. And Kaylen doesn't like he's kind of tall-ish for this time period, but he's got like elven features. He's thin and willowy, and you imagine this much lighter armor in comparison to the brigandine may help him more. He seems to think so.
I see. And Jon is definitely.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, and Jon is definitely not the guy to just take a suit of armor.
Would Jon like to do that? Because we're suddenly like in a pretty dire situation right now. We're trapped in the house.
John is going to sort of rant about how heavy plate is contrary to popular belief not the best art for warfare, and he's gonna go on like a long tangent about how back in the campaign
This is soldier talk.
he was a part of he's gonna talk about how like he was a part of a platoon of conscripts that were armed with nothing but mallets and longbows, and how they took down an entire company of knights with nothing but bows and mallets.
Impressive.
He doesn't mention how this basically changed warfare on a historical level by suddenly making war less of a game played between nobles and more of like a real life or death fight. Suddenly changing the rules of engagement.
Well, yeah, no, John doesn't realize that because
John doesn't recognize that by after firing all these arrows into them and then like moving out and finding the wounded nobles and like slitting their throats and stabbing their eyes out and stuff instead of killing them and ransoming them back, that he basically opened up the entirety of the continent to total warfare. But that is a discussion for another time, obviously. The geopolitics of the continent that you guys live on is definitely not based on any real-world historical events.
Of course not.
But also,
of course not.
Not a topic of discussion while you guys are trapped in this horrible house. But yes, there are. How do you guys want to proceed? Where do you want to go? There are 3 doorways leading away from this room and the staircase going up and down.
I and clear each room.
Sure. Where do you want to start?
Let's just start on the topmost room and we'll work our ways.
Sure. Give me 1 second here. So, red velvet drapes cover the windows. A mahogany desk and a matching high-back chair face the entrance and the fireplace, above which hangs a framed picture of a windmill perched atop a rocky crag. Situated in corners of the room are 2 overstuffed chairs. Floor-to-ceiling bookshelves line the south wall. A rolling wooden ladder allows one to more easily access the high shelves. This looks like a library. Do you want to look at anything more specifically?
I'm going to call Balthazar and ask him to look through the notes while I go to the next room.
You know what?
Sure.
Fiona was going to call
What is it?
Balthazar as well. She was going to say, Balthazar, I think you'll like this room.
Oh my. Oh my, it looks like a library of sorts.
This is
Good
your
thing
kind
you guys
of
have
place, right?
Balthazar there. Say that again?
This is your kind of place, right?
Oh, yes, one of my different kind of places.
Thank goodness, John, that you had Balthazar here with you. As Balthazar has made very clear, you probably can't read.
Yes. No, John is actually legit.
It's. I was making a joke, but it's totally up to you. Literacy at this point in time is more widespread than you'd think. You can be as literate as you'd like to, John, especially as someone who went on the warpath.
Yeah, you
I think John has like John knows enough to get like the larger concepts expressed in like with words. So like he can read science, he can grasp the general meaning of letters, but he's not well read by any means.
Oh, I would think that would mean like you can probably read, but you can't really write very well.
Yeah. John's not a huge writer.
So, Balthazar, you're looking over the room then?
Yes, I'm gonna search through the. There seems to be a lot.
That is a lot of books. Did you want to take a look at the desk or the books first?
I'll take a look at the books. Actually, I'll take a
Fiona will
look at
go
the
to the
steps
desk.
somewhere.
Put it up, Fiona. Do you want to take a look at the desk? And Balthazar, you can look at.
Yep.
Sure.
I'll
All right.
take the desk.
Fiona, I'm gonna start with you.
Okay.
There's a bunch of stupid stuff on the desk here. There's an oil lamp on one corner of the desk. There is a jar of ink and a quill pen. There is a tinderbox nearby, probably for heating the wax, as there is also a letter kit with a red wax candle inside, 4 blank sheets of parchment, and a wooden seal bearing the same insignia that you guys saw on the shield when you first entered, the windmill. If you you ruffle through the desk drawers for a minute, sitting in the high back chair, and finding it surprisingly comfortable. And in the drawers, you discover that of the 4, all of them are empty except for one, the right top hand drawer, which contains a single iron key.
A key. Well, I've been looking for a key. Maybe this key will bring us to the basement.
Perhaps. Balthazar, you start moving between the books, and there are hundreds of them here. Scrolling through them, you can see everything from books about history, warfare, even mentions of alchemy. There is a couple of shelves containing first edition collected works, poetry, and fiction. This is an incredibly impressive library set. Are you looking for anything particular among the books?
Yes, I'll first take a look at the history book, and I'll look for in the house, at the coat of arms.
Okay, throw me a perception check, and I'll tell you about the history book, and then we'll see what's going on here.
No.
Balthazar, do you need glasses?
Probably need glasses.
No.
So, Balthazar, you start looking through the books, and you pick out one on history. You flip it open, and you start reading through, and it's very strange. It's got mention of the Durst family and their rise to prominence in a place known as Moldova, spelled Mulldeva. It's not a country you've heard of, and the other nobles mentioned within are not names you recognize. Now, admittedly, this is the far eastern part of the continent. This is right on the edge of, the lands of the steppe people, and to the south, the Near East. But so it's not necessarily your foremost well-known area of history, but you don't remember, ever hearing about these nations in your study in Ostmark. So if they did exist, it was quite some time ago.
Nothing really. I'll tell them. I can't find this house's coat of arms in these books. It's really odd. And saying that, I'll frustratedly put the book down on the desk, and I'll pick up one of the alchemy books instead.
Sure. This is a book labeled Intro to Alchemy, and you've already read it. In fact, this is one of the books you specifically were given when you first joined the university in Ostmark. This is a novice beginner's guide to alchemy.
Beginners. I'll put the book back where I found it.
Freshman year triggers.
Anything on like geography of the region? Or anything regarding occult and the curses?
No, there is not. There is something on the geography of the land, but it's like when you open it up and you look at it, it is like the landmass is mostly right based on what you last saw. Obviously, maps change quite significantly over time, but it vaguely looks right, and it's got a couple of places marked on it that you recognize. Like Ostmark is clearly labeled on the very western edge of the map, and way to the south, right before it meets ocean, is a place known as Constantine, which you recognize. So you got a general bearing, but
nothing on the region of Barovia, right?
The nations here are not correct. Like, it mentions that there's a great empire to the south, which is absolutely not true. There has not been any kind of fantastical empire there in quite some time. And it's got a name you don't recognize, labeling it. And then, like, the place where you guys are supposedly at here in Barovia is labeled, again, as this, like, fantasy country of Moldeva, which, again, means nothing to you. And then to the west, they have it labeled as, you know, the Great Horde, which the Great Horde is something that in Ostmark is well known to have never existed. That is like a fantasy group of supposed orcs who rode in from the east, and the people of the eastern part of the empire. They always use it as like a point of pride that they managed to stop this great horde, but there's no evidence that it actually ever existed. And then to the west is where the map gets a little more accurate, because you recognize the edges of the empire, but it says that Ostmark is not actually the capital. Instead, it claims that this place known as actually, I don't know how to pronounce it, but I'm going to throw it in the chat for you.
Yeah, basically where Barovia is, where we are, is labeled Moldova, right?
Yes, that is accurate.
Yep, I guess you're really close to Russia.
Now, which chat are you putting it in?
I was going to throw it in Roll20. I think it's pronounced Praha.
Okay, it didn't appear yet.
Oh,
Okay.
Praha. Okay.
Yeah, it says the capital of the empire is a place called Praha, which you think, like, Praha is a real place, but it is definitely not the capital of the empire. The capital's been Ostmark for, at this point, nearly 200 years.
Those damn Czechs, they're never the capital. Who the hell writes these books? When? And he'll check the author's name and the date of publishing this book.
The author is a man named Cornelius Marmalade, and the date, after you find it listed at the back of the book, keep in mind, this is like, I'm going to say like 1560, so to speak. The date on this book is 1210.
How many years ago was from today?
Say that again?
How many years ago from today?
350.
Wow.
Holy shit. He's surprised that a 350-year-old book is in such a pristine condition.
That is very interesting. Although this might be a reprint.
It's possible it's a reprint, but if it's a reprint, there would be a reprint date.
There might be. Some publishers do that, some don't.
I see. Interesting. Well, I'll hold on to this book. It seems old, but could be useful. And any book with a really nice cover or binding that strikes the eye?
Throw me another perception check.
Okay. Horrible.
Wow, it is like you actually are blind.
-1 perception.
So, Balthazar, you look around, and no, you don't see any books that particularly stand out.
Quite useless. He'll keep the books on the desk, and you're like, yeah, nothing interesting here. You guys are free to take a look, but it's just mostly useless, outdated junk. 256-year-old book. The geography, the boundaries, the borders have all changed. It doesn't really matter anymore.
Fiona's gonna raise her head, the key that she found, and show them. I found a key over here.
Maybe the key unlocks the door of some sort. In the basement, maybe, I don't know. But there is no basement, so who knows?
Well, that's what I thought, it could be bringing us, it could bring us to the basement. I just wish I knew where.
Yes, but there is no basement.
So I think I'm just going to go explore the other rooms.
Sure. Which one do you want to go to next?
The next one.
Sure. Put yourself in there yet, though. Like I said, stop at the doors.
Okay.
Okay. So yeah, you can. Hey, I said stop at the doors. But I will put.
I don't play by the rules.
You monsters. This is a small room. It doesn't have any kind of woodworking anywhere else does. There's no wallpaper put up at all. There are a pair of shelves.
What is that sound?
That's me blowing my nose.
Okay.
You pushed it up. You pushed it up.
Yeah.
At least it was human, okay.
That's the sound of him being abducted by aliens, in fact. So, basically undecorated room, 2 beds. There are footlockers at the base of each bed. There is a little door over here. If you had to guess, John, this looks like a servant's quarters.
Okay. I'm just going to give it a look over. If there's nothing immediately out of place, I'm just going to move on.
Yeah, you give it a look over. You discover that the dumbwaiter actually runs into the room. It's right behind where your tile is. And as you kind of poke about, this door right here leads into a closet. And inside the closet are 2, clean, pressed, and not very expensive looking sets of servants' uniforms. It's there's an outfit for maid, and there's an outfit for butler.
All right. Okay. Next room then.
Sure.
Before that, DM, Fiona's going to go to the. This is a fireplace, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay, she's gonna go. Is it dirty in the fireplace?
No, this fireplace is actually surprisingly clean.
Okay, so she's going to see if there's any switches inside the fireplace that might,
Throw me a perception check. Yeah, I gotcha.
open up a hole. Perception. Oh no, wrong.
Yes.
That's the wrong one. Oh, it was
They're both
correct.
perfect.
Okay, sorry. I thought I
That's
pressed
okay.
performance. It's an 8.
No,
4.
you're. So Fiona also definitely needs glasses. You look around, and you don't see anything. It's very clean. You can see where the shaft leads to the fireplace in the uh, dining room. Beyond that, there's nothing of note about the fireplace.
Okay, I need to get used to this dark vision thing.
Excuses.
He moves
So,
away.
what do you want to do next?
Moving to the next door.
Sure.
So I'm sorry. What was in the small room?
Looks like a servant's quarters. 2 plain, well-made beds, perfectly pressed. They don't look like they've been slept in a while. Straw mattresses on like iron frames. And then in front of each one is a tiny foot locker. And if you want to take a look, Balthazar, no need because they're both empty. And then in the closet over here, a pair of servants' uniforms, a butler's outfit, and a maid's outfit. And then finally, over here on this wall, there is a door that leads to the dumbwaiter. It's a tiny little bell to it as well.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
John, let me let you know what's in there.
Okay.
Yeah,
As I
I'll see
find
to the other one as well.
So, gossamer drapes cover the windows of this elegantly appointed hall, which has a brass-plated chandelier hanging from the ceiling. Upholstered chairs line the walls, and stained glass wall hangings depict beautiful men, women, and children singing and playing instruments. A harpsichord with a bench rests in the northwest corner. Near the fireplace is a large standing harp. Alabaster figurines of well-dressed dancers adorn the mantelpiece. It is, by your guess, like a music room. I don't know what the actual name of such a room is. I think it's like a conservatory or something like that. But this is where you would take your guests to entertain them.
So does this place have windows? In this place.
Yes, it does. 3 windows that look out over the front area. You guys can look down through them and see that down below the fog. It's thick, it's deep. It has already reached these windows here, and it is difficult to see all the way down to the street. I will note, however, out in the fog, Balthazar, considering you're the one who's standing there, you can see, probably in the street, an orange glow pass by. You would guess that maybe it's a torch or a lantern. It moves through the street, and you can see, walk from one end of where you can kind of see to the other end before disappearing out of sight.
Somebody was in this fog, but it's poisonous, so curious.
Very. Yeah, this is a bunch of chairs, harpsichord. There's a harp, and then there's a mantelpiece with little figurines carved onto it.
There's a piano as well.
Harpsichord, but yes.
Oh.
Yeah. Everyone cares about the difference between a piano and a harpsichord, right?
A harpsichord. Okay, alright. Fiona's gonna spend a bit of time at the book places.
You looking for anything in particular?
Well, the books kind of like catch her eyes in a way. She's not. Is there
I mean,
anything?
John has pretty good perception, so if you want to ask him to look for something specific, then he could probably help you.
Yeah, well, I don't know. She's still trying to see if there's like a way to go to the basement from here. This key
If you're
must
just
From the
be.
second floor?
Yeah, that's why she was looking at the what do you call that?
I
What's that
mean,
thing?
like, logically speaking, if we were to get in the basement, it should probably be on the first floor. I don't see why there would be an entrance to the basement on the second floor.
Oh yeah, that would be true. But she was thinking there might be some kind of a chute that, a hole in the chimney hole.
Like a bat cave, like you just drop. It's a
firehouse,
slide.
you go down a little pole,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Slide
and then
down
you
the
never get
pole.
out.
And then you have to like straddle the to climb back up.
It's a very poorly thought out method, but it works for the Durst family.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I'm pretty sure Mr. Durst would have a wicked core strength. Just, yeah,
He's a big man,
yeah.
big, sweaty, dangerous man. But yeah, is there anything else you guys want to look at while you're up here? Fiona, if you're looking for just like books that stand out to you, go ahead and throw me a perception check.
Okay, hopefully it'd be better than the last one.
I don't know. I'm liking the everyone enters a library and goes blind scenario that we've got going on.
I mean,
13.
John is fucking illiterate, so he's not even trying right now.
So you're looking around at these books, right? And you're just kind of looking for one that stands out, and you do notice a very strange title.
Oh.
There is a crimson red book with a very crisp leather binding, right? It's a little thicker than the others. And in gold filigree written on it, on the spine, as its title, is a single word: greed.
Are you sure it's not titled How to Build a Mechanical Shelf That Leads into a Secret Room?
What?
No, pretty sure it's instead a reference to the Addams Family movie.
Okay, since it catches her eyes, she's going to try and read it. Well, the title is greed. It's a simple word. The book is probably simple enough for her to read. How thick is the book?
It's pretty thick. Are you going to pull it out?
Yeah, she's gonna try and see what's the book about.
So you grab the book and try to pull it out, and it pulls like halfway out at an angle, and you hear a grind, and then a pop, and
A monster!
a hiss.
No,
Yes.
So this bookshelf right here suddenly swings open, covering this window here, revealing a...
Is a monster coming out?
What is that? What is happening?
Well,
So here, let me
you'll hear
draw it on
Fiona shriek a bit when the things start moving.
So right here, this bookshelf, right in that same spot, has swung outwards to cover this window, and behind it there is a door set into the wall. I assume that when you see it, you probably let go of the book for a second, and as soon as you do, the book swings back into the bookshelf, and the bookcase itself swings shut.
She's gonna stare at the spot for a while, and then she's gonna pull the book out again.
The
Like in
bookshelf swings back open.
And then she's gonna let it go.
It immediately closes.
And she's gonna
Then
open it
we
again.
need to find a way to keep it open.
Wow, if only there could just be a person that could stand there and hold it open.
Oh, I'm holding it. Oh, you want
Wow,
me to
good
hold
job.
See, it's strange because on the other side of the
What
wall there is a servant's quarters. So why is the door here?
Well-
How do you want to handle this, Fiona? Because you're the only one who's seen this so far. These two doors.
She shrieked, so they probably came out to see.
Okay. Yeah, Kaylen is the first person into the room. He wants to know what's going on.
Well, the door just the door block. The shelf just started moving when I picked up this book. I don't think there's anything in there. Nothing has jumped out yet.
A secret door in a secret house in a secret library, Kaylen says, looking around and stroking his chin. I bet it's a trap.
You can go in first.
I mean, it could also be a fetish, as Jon said.
As soon as he says this looks like it might be a trap, Jon, Balthazar, you guys make your way into the room.
What is it? Oh,
yeah.
Is it a fetish room? Is there chains and bondage?
No, you guys just entered the library, right? So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That thing was
show.
That bookcase wasn't there before.
It wasn't? I don't know. It was here. Then she's gonna show them. She's gonna let go of the book and it swings shut, and she's gonna pull the book again and it swings open. It's like, look, it's so cool.
You guys must admit, it is pretty cool.
Interesting contraption.
I can
Interesting
hold
contraption.
it if you want to go see what's inside.
I mean, yes, we would, but it's odd because, well, servants' quarters on the other side. And,
Jon shrugs and is like, well, there's only one way to find out.
Yeah, let's go and open the door. See what's
Sure. Who wants to be the one who enters?
I'll do it.
Lucky you. Right, Jon?
Don't die, Jon.
I'll take the hit.
Jon, you step through the door while your trusted companion holds it open for you. So, stepping through, you find yourself in what appears to be like an extension of the library. To either side of the immediate opening, there are bookshelves packed with tomes, most of them in black leather, some of them in like a brownish, kind of gross-looking, like worn leather covers. All of them have all kinds of crazy titles and symbols that you don't recognize on them, languages you are not familiar with. At the far end of the room, though, and catching your attention first, is a large wooden chest, half opened. Like collapsed over the top of the chest is a skeleton dressed in leather armor. What do you want to do?
What's inside? Is there like a what do you find inside? Is it servants' quarters?
I see a lot of books, and I see a chest and there's a body here.
Oh,
is it dead?
I see. A lot of books.
That would be why I referred to it as a body and not a person.
Jon, it's also worth noting this room smells musty, but not like a corpse has been rotting here. And like this skeleton is skeletal. There is no flesh.
Wow, would you say that it's been here for exactly 350 years?
I would.
What? Maybe it's the author of that book. Let me.
It's actually Cornelius Mark.
Oh
we
no!
can ask for his photo, for his signature.
Oh yeah, it could be Cornelius Marmalade.
So, is there anything in particular you want to take a look at in this room?
Yes. What's inside the chest?
I think we should probably move the corpse first, and while moving it, I'm just going to scan over him real quick.
Jon, you pull the skeleton back. It kind of like collapses into pieces when you try to move it. It's wearing like a leather suit of armor. There's still some cloth underneath whatever outfit he was wearing.
I mutter under my breath, may his journeys take him ever towards the promised land.
As you do so, you notice two things. Clutched in one of his bony hands appears to be a very worn letter. And in the front of his leather armor, piercing it pretty neatly right into his rib cage, are 3 darts.
Darts. Oh boy.
Like,
And I. Wow.
oh, go ahead. They're like thick iron darts.
Lifting the letter out of his hands, I'll hand it over to Balthazar to read.
I would suggest you scan over the chest before opening it. It seems like this person. It seems the cause of death was these darts, probably poisonous. And judging by the fact that the chest was half opened, it was rigged with a trap.
That's a good point. I say as I investigate the chest.
As he looks at it anyways. Give me 1 second. If you check in handouts, there should be a new item in there. Eventually there will be a new letter in there. Trust me. So,
yeah.
There you go. John, you're looking inside the chest then? Is that the case?
Oh, is that the red colored handout?
Yes, it should say handout Strahd's letter, because that's what it is. I'll read it aloud for you guys if you'd like.
Read it, GM.
My most pathetic servant, I am not a messiah sent to you by the dark powers of this land. I have not come to lead you on a path to immortality. However many souls you have bled on your hidden altar, however many visitors you have tortured in your dungeon, know that you are not the ones who brought me to this beautiful land. You are but worms writhing in my earth. You say that you are cursed, your fortune spent. You abandoned love for madness, took solace in the bosom of another woman.
I knew he was having an affair.
Stillborn son. Cursed by darkness? Of that I have no doubt. Save you from your wretchedness? I think not. I much prefer you as you are. Your dread lord and master, Strahd von Zarovich.
So
Yes, this is the letter.
John is reading the letter alone in the room, right?
I think Balthazar is reading the letter.
I'll definitely read the letter out loud for you guys.
Okay. Are you guys still in the room?
Yes. I'd like to just look over the chest just to see if I could if there's still a unsprung trap.
So, looking it over, John, it's pretty apparent that this chest was rigged with a poison dart trap.
Right.
And it's already been fired, and it has not been reloaded.
Right. Okay.
You can see the poor fellow who took, who fell prey to this trap. He's collapsed into bony pieces beneath you.
Can I just look over the leather armor and see if I can find like the windmill insignia?
You look it over, and there is not. No evidence of that. I will say, though, you do see this does have an insignia on it. It is like a tiny red fist. It's like a patch almost, and it's not on the armor, but it's sewn onto the shirt of the man who was wearing it.
Red fist.
Yeah, like a closed iron gauntleted hand It's done in all red.
So it's not like a noble crest. It's more like a
It's like an insignia.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So John's gonna come to the conclusion that the dude is probably like another interloper that made his way in here. But regardless, thinking of the chest to be safe, I'm gonna.
Sure. You open it up, and you can see clearly now the mechanism, and you can see where it held the darts, but they are clearly no longer there. Yep. Inside, there are a bunch of black leather books, although you open them and discover that they are completely blank. There is a scroll case. It's like a, you know what a scroll case looks like, right? It's like a long black leather tube. It's got a cap on one end. When you open it up, you can see a number of documents inside.
Yep.
Pulling them out, you find 3 very strange-looking scrolls. They are not written in a language you recognize, and they are covered in glyphs and ruins. You also find a handful of deeds. There is a deed to the house you are in right now, listed as the Durst Manor. There is a deed to a windmill. There is not a clear reference to what that is, though. And there is a signed will. The will is signed by Gustav and Elizabeth Durst and bequeaths the house, the windmill, and all other family property to Rosavalda and Thornbolt Durst in the event of their parents' death.
Okay. In that case, I think I'm gonna take the deeds and will with the intentions of giving it to Rosa and Thorn next time we see them, if we see them.
They tricked us.
Yeah, I mean it's still listen. It's the law, all right.
All right.
We gotta give them the will as intended by the parents.
Well, Fiona doesn't know. She's not in the room.
But other than that, anything else?
No, just the 3 black books, the strange scrolls, and the 2 deeds and the will.
Okay, I'll give the scrolls over to Balthazar.
Are you back with us, Dusk?
Guess he's not.
I will let you guys know now then. Balthazar looks him over, and I assume you guys probably step out of the room at this point.
Yeah.
Unless you got specifically something you want to do in there. There are the 2.
I'd also like to take another one of those blanked.
A what?
One of the blank black books that were in the chest too.
Oh, sure. You can take them all if you want them.
I'll take one, just because we also found another blank book in the other bag, and John senses a pattern somehow. He doesn't know how to read these books, but he feels like there's probably a way.
John, do you compare the blank book that you got from before to the 3 in here?
Sure.
If you ask for it, Fiona will hand it over.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys take a look and compare them. They do appear to all be a very similar, make. Maybe it's a local printing style, probably the best guess. But these books, with the exception of the one that you guys found being pretty clearly significantly older than the ones in here, much more worn, they could have come from the same set. Balthazar, I will note, immediately identifies the things that you handed him, the strange scrolls, as spell scrolls. Probably genuinely enchanted ones as well. He seems to believe that they're magic.
There's no such thing as magic, according to him.
Can Fiona has proficiency in Arcana. Can she try to make out what book is it? I mean, like what scroll is it?
Absolutely. Fiona, if you take them, you can just identify them on the spot.
All right.
The first one is a spell of blessing. It casts bless, but it's worth noting that it is not calling upon like a god of any kind to bless whoever uses it. It seems to be calling on what is referred to here as the Dark Ones.
Oh, that does not sound very holy.
You mean those wacky aliens from Metro?
What
Yes,
kind of a
definitely.
bless is this?
It's the evil kind, but it is a blessing. There is one of these is a spell of protection from poison. It seems to be calling upon a great serpent of some sort to grant its own venom to whoever speaks the words listed on this scroll. And finally, there is one listed here that seems to be a spell of spiritual weapon. And this one also calls upon the Dark Ones, asking with, all humble ado that you possibly can, that, they grant whoever speaks aloud these words the ability to use their dark weapons to destroy their hated enemies.
Fancy.
Yes. I will also note that Balthazar, looking at the bookshelves to either side of you, note that these books are all very darkly occult themed. These are books about demons and creatures of the night, monsters, human sacrifice, black magic. A very large number of them are specifically about summoning demons.
Interesting. Can I?
Hey, you're back.
Yeah, sorry, I had to go for a while. Is there anything on werewolf, like Prickolici?
Yes, there is. Although, no need to roll, because I just gave this to you and don't feel the need to go back on that. You were looking through these, and alchemy, in alchemy, there is a large portion of alchemists who like to use the supernatural world to enhance some of their stuff. A lot of alchemists, in particular, believe in summoning and binding creatures against their will using arcane math and specially designed
arcane math.
Arcane math.
Yes.
Okay.
And you recognize immediately that some of these are summonings done in the alchemical style, and you also recognize almost immediately that these are fucking wrong. These are nowhere near how you're actually supposed to bind spirits, and the spirits they claim that you can bind here are probably not even possible to bind. It's talking about calling upon the seventh lord of air and somehow managing to capture his essence within a mere summoning circle and somehow getting him to answer questions. And as an alchemist, you're well aware that the seventh lord of air, first of all, you only summon him if you want to assassinate someone, because that's all he's good for. And also, you need not just a summoning circle, but at least two different kinds of offering and a backup circle around the first one that you don't actually activate, you just use to scare him. And the fact that it doesn't mention it here, and also that it gives a false name for him, really just tells you that whoever wrote this is either a fucking amateur or an idiot.
I'll check who wrote it. Is it
the Cornelius Marmalade?
This is written by someone calling themselves Elizabeth Durst.
I guess this Elizabeth Durst probably had a really hard time binding or even summoning demons, because these don't work. They're just garbage.
You would have to guess, based upon that looking over their book on, they don't call them werewolves, they don't call them Prickalici, they call them werewolves. And the only thing that even kind of hints that what's in here might be right is that they mention wolfsbane. They don't say that it smells bad, but say that it's poisonous and that you can use it to kill werewolves. There is mention of supposedly, them being very weak to fire and them being scared of the laughter of children, which, if you would have to guess, considering they kidnapped a bunch of children from Jon's village, it's probably not true.
Well, the children would probably be crying instead of laughing, but sure. Well, they weren't weak to fire, but they weren't strong to fire either. Because Balthazar threw firebombs at them.
Yeah.
And nothing interesting. Only mentions wolfsbane. So I guess wolfsbane is probably the only weakness they might have for now. But yeah. Anything else that strikes the eye?
Not really. Most of these just mention like various different kinds of occult rituals and practices. Lots of stuff on summoning demons, a couple of books on human sacrifice, and then a couple of books on things like, you see one on werewolves, obviously. There's one in here on the zombification process, which, again, it's hard to verify how accurate it is, but seems to mention something along the lines of like, different ways you can essentially like murder people to assure that they come back as zombies.
I see. Interesting.
Okay.
I'll tear out the page that says that mentions the zombification process, and I will tear out a page on human sacrifice.
Okay.
Why are you
pretty
destroying the books?
You could just take the entire book.
Yes, but most of the book is kind of pointless. I'm just taking the important bits because gotta carry less weight if you want to stay mobile.
Okay.
I'm very glad that the finding of like a corpse in a secret room behind a bookshelf is the thing that's like gotten Jon over to the fuck this place, let's just take it.
I mean, like Jon has only so far taken stuff that he's planning on giving to the children. So.
What was in the chest, by the way?
It was just there was a will, a couple of beads, and 3 bound spells and scrolls.
Yeah,
Yes.
the
Okay.
protection from poison and spiritual weapon.
Yeah, all of which are invoking dark gods instead of
a serpent.
Good gods.
Well,
Yeah.
Fiona feels a bit iffy about it since her god is the god of light and rebirth. So she's gonna ask if you want it, Balthazar.
I don't really cast spells. They're not my style.
All right.
We can keep them. I think if we
Kaylen,
find like a
probably.
wandering merchant, yeah, we can probably pawn them.
Alright.
There are some novice wizards who would pay for such stuff, but we can have them. I mean, these are just a few pages. They won't weigh much. The armor, though, is the armor usable or is it like beyond use now?
I mean, it's old, and the leather is not as pliable as it once was. But if you wanted to strip this corpse, you definitely could wear it. It is just leather armor, though.
Oh, it wasn't studded leather armor?
No, just leather. Also, when you mentioned possibly Kaylen holding the spell scrolls,
Yeah.
he smiles, holds out his hand, and he's like, I'd be happy to hold on to those for you.
Okay, she's gonna give it to him. Cause they're
Yeah,
icky.
he takes them and he rolls them and he stuffs them into his... He's got a scroll case of his own, actually, and he puts them in there.
Okay.
I mean, I think we can get like maybe 2 or 3 gold pieces, maybe even a single gold piece from this armor. It's not bad, but not something that I would wear, considering that Balthazar is wearing a studded leather overcoat. It's like, could be pawned off.
Won't it be a burden
You wouldn't even take a book.
I'm not stripping a corpse.
Fine, we'll leave it be. But yes, Balthazar will not take any books, but will take out any interesting pages in the book.
Perfectly acceptable. You're more than welcome to.
Alright. I think we're done with this floor then. All that's left is the third floor.
Yes. Oh, by the way, did we find which the trap that triggered these darts?
Yeah, it was the chest, but they were already triggered. They were already sprung.
No,
so.
did we find the trap mechanism?
Yeah, no, it was in the chest.
Okay. What kind of mechanism was it? Some kind of cross.
I don't know. I'm assuming it's just a spring trap.
Yeah. Okay.
Essentially, the way it worked is if you open the lid, there is a dart thrower on the immediate other side that just whips 3 darts in rapid succession directly out. And I will even give you, Balthazar, as an alchemist, when you go to inspect the darts, it's been a long time, obviously, and these darts are dry at this point. But when you, look at them over, you can see that the tips of these darts, there are obvious bloodstains on them, but there are also like strange patterns in the metal, probably from chemicals. You would definitely guess poison, having been on them.
I will also note that there was a insignia on the guy's armor showing a red gauntlet fist, and also the fact that the hidden door mechanism takes at least 2 people to open, which means
noting that on the letter we found, there was a wax seal. It was already broken when you found it. That appears to have like a wolf on it.
Right. Yeah. Which I'm assuming is Strahd seal because all of the coins have the wolf on it too.
Yeah, probably. It's a fair assumption.
But yeah, and so my conclusion is that there's probably a company of, or like a squad of these guys somewhere or something.
Maybe once the first guy got poisoned, the other person got scared and ran away.
Yeah.
What I'm curious is, though, this body has decomposed, and nobody else was there to open this trap door, yet there was no smell or like no bacteria, no rot in here, just a clean skeleton.
It might have been so long ago that
Bacteria's died.
Yeah. That there was literally nothing else to pick apart, so it just stopped stinking. Is that a thing? Right. Does the stink linger in the room if there's no?
If there's air circulation, yes.
Yeah, whatever. So yeah, I say we fucking go to the 3rd floor.
Yes, let's move on.
March on.
All right, let me grab everyone real quick. Let me teleport you over. Don't move right away. I'm going to read the description, then you guys can do what you will. Okay?
Okay.
Set you outside for a second so I can actually drag you over easy. Say Kaylen behind you, and Balthazar, and then Fiona. Okay, so yes, you come onto a dusty balcony. Looks like no one's been up here in a little while. Along the far wall, something you notice immediately is a large suit of black plate armor draped in cobwebs. Oil lamps are mounted on the oak panels that surround this room, which are carved with woodland scenes of trees, falling leaves, and characters. That is what you see here.
So this plate armor looks old as compared to the ones, like the brigandines on the 2nd floor.
Jesus Christ. Literally every single thing is just like, but can we take it?
Yes.
No, I'm just.
I mean, so
this thing.
it doesn't look old. It looks extremely well maintained. It actually looks like it might be from like the same set or group of people that the ones downstairs were, because it's like it's black, it's sleek, it's well made, it's well maintained. It's obviously not been dusted in a while, and it's got cobwebs surrounding it. But it's not like the armor has fallen into disrepair, and it's also got one of those like wolf-faced metal visors. It's a really impressive, if somewhat like intimidating, set of armor.
Perhaps it was the Lord's armor, the Lord of this house.
Could be.
Plate armor is quite expensive.
You guys are free to move around now, by the way. However you want to do that.
Okay.
Alright.
So cramped in here.
It is. Well, I mean, each one of these. John.
Yes.
I'm going to move back to this space right here.
Which space?
This one right here. Yes, John. You start to make your way up the stairs, right? You start to cross over towards the door, and it's when you do so that the armor suddenly lunges towards you. Roll initiative.
Whoa! Whoa!
Oh my god, we're fighting!
Oh no!
We are fighting with a map! Hang on.
2 boys? It's not a 1.
Heck yeah.
12. Oh,
I
John.
should probably go into the...
You can click on your token, reroll, and then type in your last number.
I'm just gonna. I got you. Don't worry. I'm just gonna put you in.
All right. Cool.
I got a special little tool that lets me roll initiative for any tokens I want, and it just adds straight to the thing. Such a cool guy. All right. So, we are in combat. That's fun. Let me close something up real quick so I got a little more space on my screen. And then we'll get into this. So, first things first, the animated armor lunges towards Jon. Not that it has eyes, but, you know, you can almost feel the murder. It, you know, rushes towards Jon and tries to slam into him. Jon, what is your armor class?
I think 18? It's 18.
Okay. So the armor, you know, charges across the space in front of you, right? And as it does so, you know, it tries to slam you with one fist, and you manage to throw up your shield and block the first hit, but it knocks your shield aside, and then the second fist comes forward and, you know, slams down on your shield arm. You can take 3 damage, and I will pass the turn to you, Jon. What do you want to do?
I sort of like cry in surprise as I like. Do I have my thing? What does it take to draw a weapon? Just a. It's
a free action, provided you're, you know, doing anything else on your turn.
All right. So I'll draw my weapon and I say, armor's alive. I don't know why, but it's alive. And I'm gonna say, well, unless anyone has any better suggestions, I'm just gonna hit it until it stops moving. That sounds like a good idea. I'm gonna hit it.
Give it a go. Give it a roll.
The 13.
A 13 will not hit. I mean, you know, you swing the warhammer forward and it, you know, hits the armor, but this is like full plate, and it is, you know, well made full plate, and your hammer strikes home, but it doesn't seem to do much in the way of damage to the thing. It's more of a glancing blow.
Right.
Anything else you want to accomplish on your turn?
There's nothing else I can do, so... Wait, I have... My shield master thing goes off regardless. I succeed the attack, right?
I don't know. I've never looked at Shield Master.
Oh yeah, you
I
can use a bonus action. Right.
If I take the attack, yeah, it doesn't say I have to succeed the attack. So I use my bonus action to whack him with my shield.
Sure. Is or is that a?
It's a contest.
Yeah, it's a contest at athletics versus acrobatics or athletics.
Yeah.
Okay. So in that case, let me roll his athletics real quick. You knock him down easy, John. So, you hit him with the warhammer, and, it's kind of a glancing blow.
Yeah.
And the stops, and you can almost feel it gloating for a second, but then you deck it in the face with your shield, and it's knocked off balance, and it collapses to the ground.
Yeah, I actually used the impulse, the impetus from the warhammer swing to drive the shield home.
Yes, it is knocked prone.
Nice. And then I'm just going to move one square over here, and then my turn.
All right. Fiona, it is your turn. What do you want to do?
Sacred
You can
Blast.
kind of see what's going on up here. There's but you can tell something's going on.
Yeah, well, there's sound of John struggling. So she's going to go. Can she see the thing? She can't, right?
Sorry?
Yeah.
Can
You can just barely see over the rail.
Okay, well, she's going to try and force herself up a bit. Like, I'm here to save the day.
Past the other two who are still preparing themselves and make your way to the top of the stairs.
Yeah.
How do you want to do this?
She wants this. When she sees John struggling with this armor, she's going to try and. Oh, I guess she's not going to Sacred Blast it. She's going to use Auroral Blast
Sure.
and kind of like push. Yeah, it's force. Wait. Oh no, wait. That's.
Is this a
I
you
don't.
have you had disadvantage on this.
Okay.
Ranged attacks made by a prone creature at disadvantage.
Oh,
So yes,
why is it
you get to the top.
disadvantage?
It's prone.
The way it works
Oh,
is
it's prone. Okay. Sorry, I heard
if
disadvantage.
it's yeah, you would have advantage if you were within 5 feet. But obviously,
Oh,
ranged
okay,
attacks
right. True.
made at
It's prone. Okay, right.
yeah.
Understood. Melee is
So
advantage.
you get up. You get up to the top of the stairs and you see this thing there, and you see what's going on. And I imagine how sudden this is, and having pushed past the others. Kaylen is right behind you, and he's trying to push past you, and so you point your finger at this thing to blast it, and he kind of elbows you to get to the top of the stairs, and your blast goes wide, nearly hitting John.
Oh no.
It's
Balthazar.
your turn.
So, this thing is prone. Okay, so Balthazar reaches one of his fire bombs, but then realizes, oh shit, wooden house. He reaches in for his acid bombs and says, oh shit, I'm out of acid. And then he's like, okay, I only have one more thing in my arsenal. Not sure if it'll work, but he pulls out the holy hand grenade. And he's like, be gone, vile creature. And he knows that he doesn't want to throw it at a disadvantage. So here.
Okay. How does that work? Break it down for me real quick.
Oh, so it will. The AC for that is 10. If it beats it, it explodes. But this creature only takes half damage if it fails, or no damage if it succeeds on a dex save.
Okay.
I just will once again remind you that I get bonuses to dex saves, and also I can mitigate damage if I succeed.
You don't have to because I'm throwing it here. So
okay.
You'll be only within 5 feet.
All right.
I'll go ahead and throw the thing in there. So yeah, the So 7 radiant damage, and then we will have this creature make a dex save real quick. It's at disadvantage because obviously this thing's prone.
So it takes like 3.5 radiant damage.
It's going to take 7 because it's at disadvantage.
No, I mean it takes like half damage because I didn't target him.
Oh, it takes half damage from there. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. In that case,
yeah. Unfortunately, it's not a undead. Otherwise, it would have been in a very bad spot.
Yes. So, you throw the bomb up there and it explodes. And how does a holy hand grenade look when it explodes? Tell us.
So he pulls out this flask with like a red liquid, and there's a smaller flask, like a vial in there, the single drop of like shimmering holy water. He presses the cork, and the thing cracks. The vial cracks, releasing the holy water into the red liquid. The red liquid changes color into something yellowish, and then starts to flash. And as the flask explodes, it releases this flash of golden, like almost beautiful light, but it's damaging somehow.
I gotcha. Kind of like, so I imagine the light is probably similar to how Fiona's like little finger beam for her.
Auroral blast?
Yes.
Not the oral blast, the other one.
The sacred flame.
Yeah.
The sacred flame.
Yes, and Balthazar screams, "Try not shoving him onto the ground. It blocks our sight."
So, as you do this and as it explodes, who is pushing his way past, like he stops and like hits his hand up to cover his eyes as it explodes. We're gonna go to him real quick. He like stops for a second and he like bumps into you, and he's like using you to support himself for a second, but then he recovers and he pushes off of you and almost knocks you down in his rushes. And then this suit of armor. And let me open up his character sheet real quick so I can do that. Kaylen's a hero, don't you know? A real good guy. He manages to hit. Actually, I should have rolled that with advantage. But it's still a hit.
He's not scared to die.
Yes, Kaylen, never scared to die, but vaguely afraid of exploding holy hand grenades, rushes forward. As makes his way to the top of the stairs, he pulls his rapier from its little band at his belt, and seeing the creature on the ground, he raises it up above his head. He reverses his grip on it, plunges it into the creature's back, and seems to pierce through its armor. The creature makes no noise as he does so, though. All right. The suit of armor. You can see the dog-headed face, the wolf mask look up. Seems to look between the two of you. And you'll give me a second here. Pull up its thing. So it's going to try and stand, and it's going to provoke an opportunity attack from you, Jon, and from Kaylen. So if you want to roll an opportunity attack, go ahead.
Does it? Wow, okay. Huh.
Still made it advantage, obviously.
Nope, not by me.
Yes, so you guys, start whacking on it as it stands up. Jon, you're smashing it with your hammer, and Kaylen's trying to stab it again in the back. And it just kind of takes the hits. And then it stands up, and it looks at you, Jon, and it looks at Kaylen, and it, starts to lay into the two of you. Just ignoring the blows and trying to, smash you. So it's going to make one at you, Jon, and one at Kaylen. 17 does not hit your armor class. Nope. So Jon, you block its big old arms as it kind of hammers away at your shield, and then 14 does not hit the armor class of Kaylen, if I remember correctly. Yeah. So it tries to hit, dances backward away from the blow, and pulls his shield up to try and defend from future ones, but doesn't seem to damage anyone this time around. Jon, what do you want to do?
First of all, I'd like to just Jon chuckles himself to himself in reminiscence, because this is actually exactly how he and his band used to fight against knights. Like, we knock him over, and then we just all pummel him. We just gang around him and all pummel.
They call it well known by its other name, the gang spank.
Yeah. But regardless, I'm going to once again try and whack him with my hammer. And that's a 23, boys.
A 23 will hit. Roll damage.
And that's a 13, boys.
That is a disgusting blow. Jon,
Yay,
the
Jon.
warhammer front plate crumples under the impact. You can see it indent forward, and you can even see parts of it, like the metal has been broken in enough that you can see it's torn slightly, a couple areas. And I will note to you, Jon, looking at it, you can see there is nothing inside this suit. Do you have anything else you want to do, Jon?
As I would just, as I break a hole in the armor, I sort of look through it and I say, "Here's Johnny."
Thank you.
Johnny's not in there.
I really appreciate that.
But and then I will once again use Shield Bash, which seems kind of broken at this point. But regardless, I'm going to use it for a 24. Can I just use a single turn to slam them?
Yes, absolutely. That's the whole point of the feat. And I'm going to let you in on a secret. There is literally no way it can pass this check. And so it's going to... you're going to... I imagine that you just hit it with the Warhammer, and you hit it so hard you dent the plate and knock it onto its back again.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, he is once again on the ground. Fiona.
Well, that's not gonna help
The
me
creature
to
is
shoot him.
now... Say it again?
That's not gonna help me to shoot him.
Probably not.
That's true.
Oh well.
It's good for us melee guys, range guys.
I'm just gonna try and blast him again. Wait.
Sure.
Fiona, can Fiona
and-
see that he does not have any hit?
Say that again?
Can Fiona see that it does not have any hit?
Yes, she can.
Alright. Oh well, never mind. Next time she's gonna use Sacred Flame.
Oh, go for it. Sacred Flame would probably be anyways, because does Sacred Flame require an attack roll, or is that a save?
It's a save, I think. Hang on. Oh no. I'll just click on it.
Yeah, so if Jon is going to be knocking people over all the time, and they're going to be prone, Sacred Flame doesn't have an attack roll, so there's no disadvantage associated with it, and they're getting disadvantage save.
Oh, so that means while prone, he will still make dex saves, is it?
Say that again?
That means even though he's prone on the ground, he still makes dex save. It's not automatic fail or anything.
No, but he does make it with disadvantage, so he'll take the worst of his two rolls. So it's easier to hit him in this case, and he does fail. He will take the 8 radiant damage. Tell us, Fiona, how you kill him, how you destroy this.
Okay, so when she sees the helmet fall off and it's headless, she immediately, her hackles rise. It's like, oh, this is an unholy creature.
So she uses her sacred flame on it, and like from her palm, a white colored like flame whooshes out and sort of like engulfs him, and he is unable to what dodge it in time.
Sure. And as you do so, and the flames engulf this creature, it tries to stand one last time, but it's almost like whatever enchantment holds this creature together and gives it its strength and its ability to move is suddenly banished by the holy flames, and the armor collapses into pieces.
Oh my! Looks like they were able to actually do one successful ritual and enchant this armor.
What an unholy ritual it is.
Well, I wouldn't say it's unholy. It's common among wizards.
Well, that was surprising.
I mean, I don't think there's any demons or like someone's soul in magic enchanting this. It's like a meaningless construct. At least.
Really?
The proof that this whole thing was a trap.
I mean, Kaylen does have a point. We were attacked, so everyone keep on guard from now on.
Yeah.
Fiona's gonna recast mage armor on herself because she can't remember if she has it on or not.
You guys once again find yourself standing in the now much emptier balcony. Obviously, the collapsed armor sits there. There are, as I said before, on the oak panel walls, which again are carved with woodland scenes, just like the ones downstairs. What do you guys want to do?
Let's move forward, I guess.
Yeah, just clear every room once again.
All right, which way do you want
to? Well,
let's start from the top and work our way down.
You find yourself as you push open this door in like a tiny. Enter other rooms. Basically, before you is a pair of large.
Right.
And there is a.
Okay, let's go up. Go through the double doors.
Sure. So, the double doors to this room have dusty panes of stained glass set into them. Designs in the glass. There's windmills. Because of course they do. The dusty cobweb-filled bedroom has burgundy drapes covering the windows. Furnishings include a 4-poster bed with embroidered curtains, gossamer veils, a matching pair of wardrobes, with a wood frame box and a padded chair. A rotting tiger skin rug lies on the floor in front of the fireplace, which has a dust-covered portrait you saw on the portrait downstairs to be the parents of the Durst family. A web-filled parlor resting on the dust matching jug.
Is everything safe in the?
Yeah, it's clear. I was the run.
Ooh, nice tiger skin.
There is.
What's in there?
Here. Master bedroom. Jon, you notice there's a door here. Got like a full length mirror. There's also a door.
Hang on, can you guys give me a second?
I guess.
I think I want to restart my Discord. Sorry, it became a lot choppier. Hang on.
Alright.
So, Fiona, just to run you through what happened here, they opened this door down here. It was a closet that was empty. Balthazar opened this door right here. It was a balcony to outside, which immediately started letting fog into the building, so he slammed it shut. Balthazar also checked out the vanity, found a silver with gold filigree jewelry box. Inside were 3 gold rings and a thin platinum necklace with a topaz pendant. Which, if you're going to take, make sure you add all this stuff to your inventory.
It's jewels. Yes, I do want them.
Yes, and Balthazar just asked you if you would like any of them.
Yeah, she would like them. Oh, would you mind if I had them?
Yes, I mean, I was thinking of selling them, but if you and dividing up the money. But if you're interested in a particular piece of jewelry that you like to own yourself, then you're free to have them.
Why don't we leave them for now, and after we're done exploring the house, you can come back for them if you'd like.
No, because I have had experience that once we are done with spooky, scary buildings, we often run out. I would rather keep it right now, if you don't mind.
You're so full of experiences. What?
Oh, I have plenty of experiences in the city.
What jewels are there again?
Balthazar has just spent the last couple of years, he's a nerd. He spent the last couple of years, like, tucked into the library reading the latest, like, penny dreadfuls and, like, just eating up all of the ridiculous tales therein.
Sorry, DM. What were the stones again? What were the precious gems?
It is a thin platinum necklace with a small topaz pendant.
Okay. And there were a few more, right?
Gold rings.
3 gold rings. And the box itself is made of silver and is gold filigreed.
Okay. Well, she's interested in the topaz. Topaz is yellow. It's like the sun.
Yes, it would definitely match your hair, would it not, Miss Fiona?
Okay, I'm going to leave the room.
All right.
No, I was just making a... Oh, come on.
No,
A gentleman
because...
must always praise a lady.
No, because
There's
John,
nothing...
It's
kinda
not
love it.
that. I think it's the part where, oh god, they're gonna steal the jewelry. I'm getting out of here.
It's
up to your interpretation.
So,
well, as a player, that's what I think.
wanna...
But Fiona doesn't think anything of it.
What do you guys want to
And
take a
like-
look at next?
Sheriff, do you not want the money, though, when we sell it?
It's okay. We're not gonna sell it yet.
John is at the age where, like, he's lost all interest in, like, material things. Like, he's realized that life is more just about the living, and just,
I see.
Just take it when just take life as it comes, you know.
And
The
a
money
bottle of vintage whiskey shows up. Bottle of vintage whiskey just shows up.
Well, I mean, I got that from.
No,
So,
like
yeah.
another one. No interest in material possessions.
It's not food, I guess.
Yeah, no. There's some that John has his blessings in life. He counts them as he gets them. That's that, and also he probably doesn't steal.
So yeah, the Fiona can take the necklace. The rest of the stuff in this bag, and
Fiona's gonna wear the necklace.
Okay. Yeah, you put it on and it looks nice. What do you guys want to do next?
Check out the next room.
Sure. Which one is that?
The one just below the double doors.
Sure. John, you push open the door and you find yourself standing in a bathroom. The dark room contains a wooden tub with clawed feet, a small iron stove with a brass kettle resting atop it, And a
Can I just add that whoever designed this bathroom put a tub inside?
There is a barrel under a spigot on the east wall.
Huh.
Right?
Okay.
Right here. It's got a little handle on it if you want to try it out.
I pull on the handle.
When you twist the little iron spigot, right, water begins to pour out and fill the bucket underneath.
That's peculiar. It seems like water is magically coming out in plumes into this barrel. And it's indoors. It's almost like indoor pluming.
Yes, how bizarre. If you guys want to investigate the source of that water at some point, I will just let you know from the outside, provided you guys go out there again, provided you survive the adventure. You will note, of course, that there is a cistern on the roof that catches rainwater. Not visible to you when you first got here because it's covered in fog, but I don't feel like mentioning it again, and I will definitely forget.
It's okay.
But yeah, like dark, murky water pours out. It's clearly not clean. It's been sitting there for a while. It comes out orange at first, and then is like a gross black color. It smells bad. And after filling the bucket, like not quite filling it, like a little over halfway, the water like starts to turn into a trickle, and finally it dies down, and there's appears to be nothing else.
All right. I guess I'm just gonna. Next room then.
Sure. Which room is that?
The room on the left.
Sure.
Fiona's sitting outside to see to study the armor. Yeah.
Okay.
The dead armor.
So, Fiona, it's worth noting, there's nothing particularly special about this armor now that you're looking it over. The only thing of note is that on the back of the breastplate, right where Kaylen punched through with his rapier, is a red circle with a couple of symbols drawn on the inside.
Unholy books it.
Jon, you push open the door and you find a storage room. Dusty shelves line the walls of the room. A few of the shelves have folded sheets, blankets, and old bars of soap on them. There is a broom in the far side. Jon,
does it say greed on it? Sorry, go ahead.
Do you take a look?
Sure, yeah.
Roll initiative.
Whoa.
What?
Oh my.
Okay, hold on. Let me.
I guess.
How do I roll initiative from my token?
You click on your token and then you
Okay.
click initiative on your character sheet.
Oh, okay.
Brilliant.
Wow. Man, I fucking fantastic rolls.
DM, could you please roll for Fiona because my roll 20 seems to be stuck.
Yep, no problem. And let me roll for Kaylen real quick. And then let me rearrange these in the correct order, which is Kaylen. Balthazar, what's your dexterity?
It's 14.
It's a 14?
Yes, it's a +2.
Just real quick. Actually, the animated broom beat you, so it's going to go before you.
Yep.
It's fucked up.
Broom.
You're about to get real beaten by a broom, in fact. So Kaylen, he hears Jon shout in surprise, and so he pulls out his rapier. There's no room for him to get any closer with everyone standing around, and so he's just kind like he yells, "Move out of the way, you fools!" And then he passes his turn to the broom. Jon, the broom just jumps up from where it was leaning against the wall and like spins around to the bristle side and just starts to fucking whack you over and over again. It's really bizarre.
Okay.
Jon, does a 20 hit your armor?
It does. And 18 also matches my AC.
Okay, Jon, you're going to need to take 13 damage here as the broom just leaps forward and starts like hitting you over the head over and over again.
Ouch. Ouchie.
It feels like you took a punch from that animated armor earlier, and it slammed down on your arm like a hammer fisted your arm.
Right.
That hurt. This broom feels like that armor grabbed the hold of the other end and is just like beating you over the head with it.
Right.
And that'll be the broom's turn. Balthazar, what do you want to do?
Oh my. Yes. Broom made of wood. Balthazar again reaches for his firebombs and then realizes, oh fuck, no, wooden house. And then he pulls out his holy bomb again, and he's like, well, and he's not sure whether it's an unholy creature. Was like, okay, be gone, unholy creature, and he just has like a question mark at the end, and he just throws it.
Go ahead and make the attack roll, but at disadvantage because you've got Jon and Fiona. That you've got to lob it like over and around.
Oh, right, yeah.
Wait, are you throwing a bomb into the closet?
Yes, he is.
You'll be fine. You've got shield mastery.
So
okay. I mean, just a reminder that I have two. So if I fail...
Just a reminder that explosions are volumetric and therefore tend to fill spaces and create a chunky salsa effect.
No, but it's fine. If it misses, then it won't explode. So it'll be fine.
So what happens when your bombs miss again?
Do they know off?
Yeah, so you whip it, you pick it up and you throw it, and it just crashes against Jon's back, but does not go off, interestingly enough.
Okay.
I imagine it's because it's on a timer, right? Time for the reaction. It didn't go explode, like it cracked a little too early. So, Jon, you just get a bunch of like weird chemicals and holy water on your back as this thing.
Hey.
Fiona, it's your turn. What do you want to do?
Well, if it cracked on Jon's back, Fiona probably screamed a bit because she thought it was gonna blow up.
That's fair.
Yeah, so she calms down a bit when she sees that the thing did not blast.
You got any healing?
You want to heal? Are you bad?
I have 2 health.
Oh dear.
I just took 13. If I was level 1, I would have died.
Okay. She's going to use healing light on him. So 2d6. She's gonna heal him by 2d6. It's 30 feet range, but it's okay. You're just in front of me.
He's just in front of you.
10. Heal 10.
Nice. I'm alive.
Yep. So kind of like her hands glow, and the glow sort of like moves over to him.
Jon, I imagine it probably specifically turned. I just have this image of Jon getting beaten over the head, right? And there's like bruises forming and like blood from where he's got like a split lip and like a lump forming, and they're healing, and so the bruise is fading away. But then he gets whacked in the same spot again, and it starts coming back, and then it starts fading away again.
Yeah.
Jon, it's your turn. What do you want to do?
All right. I am whack it because that's all I can do. and I critical fail. That's nice.
Oh no.
We
Legit, I'm gonna get impaled by a fucking broom.
I don't believe in that kind of critical failure because I don't think it's copacetic with the way I run games.
Yeah.
But here's the issue: you're used to fighting like man-sized opponents or like half man-sized opponents. This is a stick, and fighting a stick is surprisingly difficult with. And so you're like swinging the hammer back and forth, trying to smack this thing, and it just kind of floats out of the way and resumes beating you over the head.
Okay.
Do you want to try and knock this broom down?
I am debating between that or healing beyond.
I'm gonna be straight with you, John. This broom is already levitating. You can't knock it prone.
Yeah.
Oh, just I kind of missed it earlier, but just a heads up. My healing.
Or I could actually wait. Is there anyone behind me right now?
Just Fiona.
Fiona is.
Okay.
But yeah,
Time
just
to actually move the. Right.
What's up, Fiona?
no, just for information, my healing was a bonus action. My god, it's so OP.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next time. Okay.
Yeah, I missed it, so that's fine. Just information.
So, John, was there anything you wanted to do with your bonus action?
Let's see.
Second wind.
Go for it. Give it a roll.
Second wind is good.
Yeah.
The action surge.
I'm thinking of whether I want to use the action surge. You know what? Fuck it. All action surge.
Action surge this broom. I believe in you.
Yeah. I'll swing again at him.
A 20 will definitely hit. Go ahead and roll damage.
That's a 12, boys.
Your wild, flailing swinging manages to connect with your hammer strikes like dead center on it, and you can, it hits and the broom bounces away and slips into the wall and like falls to the ground. It's gonna take a second. It almost looks like it's like shaking off a concussion before it floats back up and tries to beat on you some more.
All right, cool. And I'll just second wind too, and because I don't want to die.
Do it. Give it to us.
6. Heal back to full HP.
Miraculous. So, Kaylen is, going to push forward, and he's going to try and muscle Fiona out of the way, but, he's also, he's trying to play nice with you guys. He doesn't want to be an asshole. So, he tries to push you out of the way, Fiona, but, you're still standing there, and so he steps back, and he says, "How am I supposed to murder these things if you guys won't..."
I'm sorry.
And so the broom's turn is back, and you'll never guess what the broom is going to do.
Oh my god. Well, I take 7 more damage.
Whack John.
Getting my ass handed to me.
The first time it hit you, it was more of a surprise because you weren't expecting a broom to just start beating you over the head. Now this broom is just attacking you with malice, and you're trying to throw your shield up, and it goes low, and then it goes high, and you're starting to get the pattern on the first attack, but then the second one comes around, and it just completely ignores it because the broom starts it's levitating in circles and just smacking you, and there's no way to really stop that, and so you get whacked again.
Yep.
That's a deadly broom.
That's a deadly fucking broom. Man.
These are the best enemies. Balthazar, what do you want to do?
I can't really see this thing from here. So let's see. Let me move to a better location.
It's
even worse.
Instead of bombs?
What?
Do you have any buffs instead of bombs? Like, can you
not yet. No.
Okay.
No.
I think
Alright,
you can only
cool.
throw from where you were.
No, I can throw from like 60 feet away, but I don't have line of sight.
No, the thing is, you can't throw a curveball into the room.
Yeah, that's the.
You can you can try and like I don't know how you want to do it. You could maybe throw something into like Fiona's space and try and catch it, or into John's space from like the corner here in the back blast. But you'll also hit obviously John and Fiona.
Fiona will
Maybe
move
also
away.
Kaylen, which would be very funny.
I'll I don't know, hold my action or something.
Yeah, can.
I mean, I'm probably okay because I take no damage.
If I get a clear line of sight, I'll throw a bomb. Otherwise, not.
If he
Okay.
can hold
Alright.
an
That is a
action
fine.
after Fiona, Fiona will move out.
So, Balthazar is going to hold his action to throw when he has line of sight. I will note, if you're going to do that, I'm going to move you here because you will not have line of sight from here. But this will give you like at least partial. Or if you wanted to stand here and Fiona, you wanted to open this door here, you could step that way and then you'd have perfect line of sight, Balthazar.
Yeah, sure.
You try it from
Fiona
there.
move this way?
Yeah, you could move there. You can do it however you want.
Okay, so
Yeah.
before she moves there, she is going to take an action to guiding bolt the damn thing.
Go for it. Give it a roll.
Oh, shite. Well, that
Okay,
didn't
so
work.
what is a guy?
And also, I'll take any healing I can get at this point. If you still have it.
Can she still... Oh, wait, weren't you... Oh, you got hit again.
Yeah.
So, Fiona...
Yeah, on there.
Guiding bolt looks sickly.
Well, her guiding bolt, I would say it's... Can I say it's something like a lightning strike from like out of nowhere? It's like...
Yeah,
it bolts
absolutely.
down. Yeah, so it misses. It struck the floor next to the broom.
I imagine, like you raise a hand towards it, right? And the lightning strike comes down, but because it's a broom and therefore very thin, it just strikes the floor right underneath of it.
Wait, is that a ranged attack?
Such a waste.
Yes, it is a ranged attack.
Because if you make it a ranged attack into you hit a friendly if you crit fail?
No.
Well, it depends on the DM.
Yeah, it basically depends on the DM, but it's not like a rule.
Okay. I thought there was like a specific perk that or a feed that prevented that from happening.
There are certain rules about firing into melee, but they have a lot more to do with like cover and half cover than they have to do with anything else.
And fighting is a lot more forgiving than Pathfinder.
Yeah.
Anyway,
So
she's gonna use her. Can she still use her bonus action to heal him?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So oh my god! You get
take
one.
heal 1 point of damage, John.
And she's going to cry and run to the side.
Balthazar, you now have line of sight. If you want to go ahead and roll.
Okay. All right then. Well, let's see.
A 14 will not hit though, and so you grab the bomb and you whip it, and again you just hit John, and splash him with holy water and chemicals once more.
What's wrong with us? We're being hexed.
We're being defeated by a broom.
John, it is your turn. What do you want to do?
I was thinking maybe I could if I grapple him, the broom, can I switch positions so that I have my back against the wall and I turn him towards the door?
Yes, but it'll take your whole turn. As long as you're all right with using your whole turn to switch positions with this thing and like force it towards the others, absolutely.
All right.
Go ahead, roll your athletics, and I will roll its athletics.
Okay.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay, Joe. You are barely able to grab this it's like shifting and wrangling out of your grasp, but you manage to, at the last moment, push the broom to the other side. Which, if you're not, do you have a thing you want to do with like your bonus action or anything?
Bonus action. I didn't attack. Can't shield slam. So okay, yeah, that's it.
So Kaylen will take the opportunity to try and hit this thing. It's all down to Kaylen now. Kaylen will barely manage. I'm just imagining him trying to like duel this thing. Like the point turns around towards him now, and he's got their spear out, and so he's going back and forth with this thing. And finally, he realizes how stupid this is because it's not doing anything. And so he like steps back, and he just takes his fist balled up around the actual hilt of the sword, and he punches this thing, and it hits the ground and snaps in half.
All right.
And that is the end of combat. And that is also going to be the end of the session. Jon, as you stare at the snapped broom, and the rest of you, catch your breath and stare in shock, the weight of the danger of this house starts to weigh on you. So to realize how bad things might really be, and like the seriousness of the situation finally, really hits you. And then Kaylen looks to the three of you with dead serious look in his face, and he says, "I told you this place was a death trap, a death house, even." And
no.
that is where we'll call it.
All right. Cool.
Oh. Okay, thank you, DM.
As always,
We are
comments, questions, concerns, anything you guys want to talk about?
We are flabbergasted.
Yeah, I was looking forward to this encounter because I read the mini module and was like, yeah, that house would be interesting too. Because it's always like, oh, you start but we're like not explicitly starting the campaign with this, but like starting it on the first day of entry into Barovia.
Yeah. Yeah, if there were 2 brooms, we would have been fucked. Those brooms are fucking deadly.
Hell yeah. You don't fuck with an animated broom. So the broom, I think, is maybe the worst encounter, except for one in all of Death House in terms of like deadliness. Not because the broom is like particularly strong. It is strong. It's CR1. It's meant to take on a whole party by itself.
Wow.
But because of like where you encounter it, it's literally a monster closet. And there's no space to fight it.
Yeah.
It'll 1v1 everyone in the party until they're battered, beaten, and bloody. Any other things you guys want to talk about?
Well, personally, I just need to tell you guys that Fiona has no more heals. She needs a long rest.
Same.
The bed looks nice. Why don't you just sleep there?
What bed?
Yeah, let him sleep in the death.
Yeah, in a haunted mansion. What could ever go wrong?
And before the bed is also enchanted.
Death bed, the bed that eats.
Another adventure.
Yeah. You'll never wake up.
Everyone's teleported somewhere to dreamland.
No, the
But
bed
yeah,
will
I also
smother
need a
you with
short
a
rest
pillow.
to recover my stuff. Yeah.
We can probably discuss later in the chat if we should take a long or a short rest. Okay, anyway, I'm gonna stop the recording now. Thank you.
Long? Yeah. Yeah.